It is that time of week. It is Street Talk time. We have had, believe it or not, 5 episodes of Coronation Street on Monday to Friday to discuss in today's episode. But we are going to start off with a little bit of clickbait time. They weren't so good headlines this week, I'm going to say. Thank you anyway, Jonathan, for sending some, but we will rush through a few.
What did you say?
I just said that there was a few. They're just like, they weren't so great clickbaits this week. He sent loads. It's not his fault.
No, I think. So what was the?
I didn't find them particularly inspiring.
I feel like the last time I did it, I was like, these. Do you think the journos are getting sick of Corrie as well?
I couldn't possibly say. Right,
or
in the Mirror.
Is it just also predictably boring?
I chose this one from the Mirror because this has got treble inverted commas in here, Gemma.
Oh my God.
So, Coronation Street, Brodie's sad fate sealed.
They can't see you doing that.
Exit. I'm using my voice to show where the inverted commas are. As fans solve killer twist.
Brodie's going to get murdered.
By
Lucy.
No. Who's Brodie? Who's
Idris.
bad? But yeah, people reckon that Idris is going to be bumping off Brodie at some point soon. What do you reckon to that?
How tiresome.
I don't see Idris becoming a killer.
No, they want him to be in it.
I mean, he doesn't even drink or gamble, so I don't know. I think killing's probably down there in the crown.
I'm not going to say anything about that.
Do you reckon that Idris is down as a long-term character? Yep. Has he got that energy for you?
Yep. I'm not saying anything about it.
Why?
About my personal thoughts on it.
Why? About Idris?
Because I don't like... Look, some of the things we talk about border on, like, talking about people's jobs and things. And I know everyone loves doing it, and we talk about it. But I do always feel a bit gross talking about contracts and how long someone's going to be in it, and somebody gets a job and they're really excited and they love Corrie, and then we sit there and go, well, I don't think they should be in it for any longer than a year. Like, I know it's
really tough.
It's essentially harmless, isn't it? But I do have a bit of an ick about it now.
Yeah, but to me, Idris does have temporary character vibes going on, but it's because he's a bad guy, and bad guys don't usually last.
He's not in the same way as, like, I don't know.
I think maybe we should rank all of the gits that have been introduced in Corrie in the past few years according to how gittish they are.
Maybe that can be our Patreon. Yeah. Well, it could be.
No.
Rank the gits. Why not?
I don't know. Look, we'll talk about it later. I think that he and Leanne do make quite a handsome couple, as Fred Elliott would have said.
They deserve each other, is what I'm going to say.
But there's clearly red flags going up all over the place that Leanne is completely oblivious to. Unlike Nick, who, I don't know, if he didn't get my character of the week this week, he's going to be close there because Nick is such a petty kid, isn't he?
Yeah.
He just kind of stands there in the background, kind of squinting away at it, just going, I've got your number, mate. But he's right this time. He is absolutely right. But I don't know whether it's a case of just protectiveness over Leanne or whether he's secretly kind of hankering feelings for her again. But I think Nick is telling us that Idris is a wrong un. But, you know, I said the same about the likes of Kit and Carl. They also came in with temporary bad guy energy, and they're still in it. So I don't know. I guess we'll see.
I think that, based on what I know, that they're scrambling for eligible young bachelors.
Right.
To come in, well, you know, eligible our age, aka young bachelors, to come in to partner off with some of these women.
Yeah, there's a few spares few spare women that need pairing up, aren't there?
And I think that...
Sorry, Glenda, you picked the wrong one this week.
I think that they think that Idris is a long-term character because... And all of the stuff that he's doing is really not that much different from some of the, you know, underhanded stuff that people like Gary, you know, even did. Yeah, he's not done anything. Yeah. I don't think he's going to kill anybody.
I don't see him being a killer, no, not at all. I think some of the fans are still discussing this and the fact that they think Brodie are going to get killed off because Ryan Mulvey has signed up for Panto this year. And I'm sure we've said this on the podcast before, but yes, Ryan Mulvey is doing Panto this year, but no, that does not mean that he's leaving Coronation Street. So's Jack P. Shepherd, and he ain't going, is he?
As far as I understand it, they do have an agreement where they've released a certain number of people this year to do Pantos.
Yeah, I think that it feels like they're easing off the reins a little bit, considering that they've reduced the number of episodes
by whatever,
yeah,
a sixth.
Yeah, and so I think that's why a few people are doing it, but obviously not everybody can just sign up to do Panto, otherwise it'd leave nobody left in Coronation Street. So Brody fans, don't worry, he is not going anywhere.
No, I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say you can't use it as a. It used to be a very reliable way of working out who wasn't going to be in the show anymore.
Yeah,
and now it isn't. You can't use that. He may very well leave. I don't know. I don't know what his plans are.
No,
but
exactly.
that is not an indication.
No, it is not. Next clickbait this week we've got from the Manchester Evening News. Coronation Street fans make request for more after finally getting endearing scenes. There was a double inverted commas in this. Who had some nice endearing family scenes this week, which this finally might make you think, they don't usually have many scenes together. I got a scrunched up face here. She's doing her best Nick impression.
It's not. No, who? What are you talking about?
It's related to who we've just been talking about, actually.
Not Sally and Tim and that.
No. I thought you'd think Sally and Tim, their endearing cake decorating scene.
Stupid.
What? Why is it stupid?
What is it then?
It's Brody with Kit. When they had Brody go and
joking?
He's wanting to move out to be with Kit now. I think some people are thinking, and I'm not, completely in the different. I'm somewhat in agreement in this, that they sometimes seem to forget that Brody and Kit are father and son.
Right. So the way we remembered in this finally getting endearing scenes moment was when Brody came and told his dad with a huge smile and excitement that he was going to move in with him, and Kit went, no, not at the moment.
No, not at the moment.
Can't be bothered.
No, thanks. Yeah, something like that. I think it was when Brody said, I'm going to move out with Kit, and then some of the fans were like, oh yes, Brody should live with Kit, but I don't know, that doesn't inspire me. But hey, maybe that can intertwine with what we've just been talking about, and Idris can bump off Brody and then Kit can arrest him. Yeah. Or something like that. Last one from the Manchester Evening News. Coronation Street fans spot Sarah Plan prison blunder.
Sarah Platt.
What did I say?
Plan.
Sarah Platt prison blunder as she faces threat from inmates.
It's something like, she wouldn't be allowed to, blah de blah de blah.
No, it's about. I think this is something that we've talked about. Off screen before, off mic before, to do with the decor in the prison. Have you seen them?
Think about photos.
Yeah.
She hasn't got a photo of Bethany.
She doesn't have a photo.
She does have a photo of Bethany. It's just in a different place.
I'm not sure whether she does. I thought that she did the other day, but I don't think she has. She's definitely got, next to her bed, she's got kind of the main man of Kit, but then opposite side of her cell, she's got a few others. Like there's one of her and Gail and Audrey there, but I don't know whether I've seen a definite Bethany one, but I'm not really bothered by it. I'm sure Bethany would probably be a bit knocked off if she found out that she didn't have a photo.
Sarah's probably so dumb. She thinks she's got a photo of Bethany, but it's actually her.
Yeah.
She's like, this is a beautiful young blonde woman. It's me. It's me, or is it Bethany? Oh, we're the same person.
Well, anyway, that was the clickbait for this week, and it is time now that we got properly started on chatting about what went on in this week's episode, starting off with the Speed Daal deal sparred storyline, and there was a lot of dealing this week, wasn't there? Of many a different time. There was a poker night this week in Speed Daal.
This is our fault again, isn't it? Because we've moaned in the past like, oh, how come they just do like make a deal about something, or they just sell the factory, or somebody just buys a house and it just happens instantly. And so Corey went, well, all right then, how about a protracted dealing with Ollie and Idris, where neither of them understand how to negotiate?
It really was a long back and forth, this Speed Daal. I mean, it's probably only been about 2 weeks, but in Coronation Street's terms, that's a lifetime. And probably in real life, if you were buying a restaurant, it might take a little bit longer. Although I don't think it has been, I don't think anyone's signed on the dotted line yet. Didn't somebody say on Fridays? Paperwork. Yeah, paperwork. We'll probably get to have the joy of viewing that next week. But
the TA1 form.
If all goes well, then by this time next week, Speed Daal will be 51% Leanne, 49% Idris, and what could possibly go wrong there?
What does Leanne think she's doing? What does she think she's doing? She's
got
being
herself
so
a new
stupid.
hunk.
She's a better businesswoman than this. We were criticising her last week, going, I don't think she's in the I've never believed she's in the restaurant trade. She didn't strike me as knowing what she's doing. Same as Sophie never knew what she was doing in the garage. But she is a businesswoman because she doesn't have normally she doesn't really have emotions, or she's she uses her emotions of like not liking anybody to her advantage, right? Where she just doesn't care if she screws you over, or she's always out for herself. She's very cutthroat, isn't she? In personal and business. Why is she going into business with this guy that she doesn't even know and giving him 49% even?
I think she knows him quite intimately, and by that she's won her over. I think that she...
Well, that's not the same thing.
She thinks that... Yeah, how long have they known each other now?
Like
3 months, 4 months, 2 months?
This is utterly ridiculous.
I mean, at the end of the day, she might also be thinking, well, if me and him don't make a go of it, I'm very professional, and I'm sure that we can work things out otherwise.
She just came off of being in the bistro with her sister and her brother-in-law, who was her boyfriend. And that went completely messy because of that. They mixed their personal and their professional lives together. The whole thing blew up, and she had to leave the bistro that she loved to go and do Speed Daal that she didn't even have any interest in.
Yeah, well,
she hasn't learned a damn thing, and everyone around her is going.
This will not blow up in her
everyone
face.
Around her, including Alia, said this guy's bad news. He's a wrong'un, and she's like, I don't care. Okay, you deserve everything you get. I really like. I had a period where I really liked Leanne, and I thought she was a very interesting character. And I even through the
Institute story,
even through the cult stuff, you know, Ollie, her performances and stuff won me over. I do think she's interesting. I like the women on the show that don't care if you like them or not, like her and Lisa. Like, I don't give a crap. I'm going to do what I want, and you deal with it. If you don't like it, it's not my problem. But in this story, she's acting like such a moron. She deserves. You know, it's all going to blow up in her face. That's what's satisfying to me at the moment. Watching her smugging around, going, "Oh, look at me! I've got Idris." Like, everyone was fighting over this man. Nobody cares. Nobody wanted him. You're the one that decided he was a prize. No one's interested, but you, love. You fill your boots.
Well, we'll just have to wait and see.
I can't
see
wait
who's
for
going
it.
to be saying,
She
I told you so
deserves
to who.
And her going like, oh, I'm gonna, you can come over when Sam's here. You get on with him, don't you? You don't mind. And then acting like Toya and Nick had no input whatsoever in this, and turning around going, oh, you do tell me what you think. I don't know, Leanne. I'm the father. I've forgotten what link you've got to him. Oh, that's right. You don't have one at all. You lived with me when he lived with me, and initially, I don't know if you remember this, you didn't want anything to do with him.
Wow, this is a real nice round. All I did was announce the storyline title.
I'm
Gemma.
so fed up with her.
I'm going to let you take over this one because it seems like you're quite invested in this.
Why does everyone pussyfoot around her and Sam?
After that, we have got this character of Celeste who's been introduced into Coronation Street this week, but she's on her way out. So I'm calling this storyline, and I might have to explain this. I don't know. The Berry Celeste.
Like the Mary Celeste.
Like the Mary Celeste, you got it, but it's the Berry Celeste.
You know me and my spooky tales.
This is all about her imminent. Is she getting buried? Is she getting cremated? Is she getting blasted into space? I don't remember, but we'll be chatting about that one next. Brand new story. It also includes what's been going on with Todd. He's been an absolute git this week, actually, toward the end of this week, to Glenda, so that's all going to get chucked into there. We've then got a little bit more of the Parkinson's deceased storyline and the Fit Kit split with Sarah Lou in prison. So, Gemma, it seems like you've got a lot to say about the Speed Daal deal Spard story.
I think you know that if you read this, I just interrupt you continuously to complain.
I'll try not to interrupt you too much. But
oh no, you can. No.
Well, what happened this week? There wasn't much on Monday, was there?
Adam urges Alia not to accept Idris's offer out of family loyalty, and she's like, "Oh, what? Because he doesn't like him."
Yeah, Adam is Adam and Nick. They're going to team up and take down that Idris.
Why do they hate him?
I think Nick just finds him a bit annoying and smarmy, and a bit too charming. And I think it is partly to do with the fact that he's going out with Leanne, and I think he's a little bit, hey, I know that I'm not with her at the moment, but I'm still being a bit possessive / protective of her.
Well, it's because he's dodgy. It's clearly dodgy.
Well, Adam can see that he's dodgy. He's got a good head on him, hasn't he?
I can't remember if there's anything more specific.
So
Adam, what family loyalty?
When she's saying just because he's your uncle.
I was like, how is Adam and Alia family loyalty?
No.
But this show you wouldn't know. They, you know, I could have fallen asleep for 2 weeks when they got married and had it annulled, for all I know.
Exactly.
That's how this show works now.
I mean, Leanne was Leanne Barlow for a point, wasn't she, when she was married to Peter? So she was in that family. Everyone's just all intermingled. So Tuesday
well, yeah,
is
that
when
that could have been the meaning for all I know. It could have been like,
wasn't.
all right, okay. On Tuesday, Alia's like, you said 30 grand. No, 45. That's what I said to do last week, Alia. I'm glad you listened to the podcast. Although, if you did listen to the podcast, you probably would have left the show by now. So she's like, yeah, I want 45 minimum.
Somebody tweeted us this week, didn't they? And they'd been listening to a 2014 episode of the podcast, and they said, "At conversations true. Can't believe you hated Alia even way back in 2014. I definitely don't hate Alia. Maybe that wasn't the wording of the tweet. I don't know.
Hate her.
But I don't think we've ever really been like super inspired by the character of Alia, have we?
No, not really.
It's funny, every now and then you see people commenting online about like saying, has Alia always been this boring? Or
yes, she has been.
It's a character that's been on the show for 10 plus years at this point. And
what's her purpose? Does everyone have to be fun and interesting, or do we actually need people like Alia?
She's got somewhat of her head screwed on, hasn't she?
She's so bland.
She's a bit more of a... I think it's because she's a bit more of a cleverer person, and she's not a traditional
women.
Corrie kind of fishwife sort of character in any way, is she?
Professional women struggle on Coronation Street, don't they? Because, Toya now isn't a counsellor anymore because they couldn't cope with it. And they wanted to keep her around. And then everyone else, like, Dee Dee... It's mostly professional women of colour, I'm going to say, because Dee Dee went, and then it was, what's his name? The marine biologist.
Dude. So Angie Appleton.
Yeah, she was also very bland and professional.
Yeah.
I mean, Dee Dee was a bit more interesting, but even she was like, well, I'm going to try to make sensible decisions here. And Coronation Street is like, no.
I do wonder whether, as Coronation Street fans, we just don't like that sort of character. Because what we
do
do
you
like...
mean by that sort?
Well, the professional, sensible ones, because, we like the fishwives, we would like the feisty characters, we like the kind of the flirty, just the ones with a little bit of spark in them. And
the problem with characters like that is that in order to write them as an interesting person in the soap, you have to betray their fundamental character and personality, don't you? Because they have to make stupid decisions continuously and get themselves in bother.
Yeah.
But we don't seem to judge the men in the same way, though. Or are there no... I mean, are there no men like that?
Well, you have your suave businessmen, don't you?
I'm trying to think of people who are like Alia and Dee Dee.
I mean, people in the past been like, Tony Gordon. I know that I'm just thinking about him because I've been watching the ITV3s recently. But he was a businessman through and
they're
through.
They're not boring, are they? The men.
No.
The way they're always doing something cutthroat. Alia doesn't really do anything like that. She just wrings her hands about stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I think I personally don't enjoy that type of character because they remind me very much of the character of Angie Freeman back in the 90s, who was the graduate. She was into fashion. She bought into Underworld when it first started. And she was working with Mike when it first started. And I found Angie very, very dull as a character. And I know that isn't a everybody thinking that, but I thought she's not like the other Corrie women.
No.
And I don't know what to do. I don't know what to make about it. I don't know what could make me really, really excited by Alia.
No, she
and
doesn't.
having becoming a lawyer, i.e. more legal scenes, sitting around either in the police interview room or if they ever decide to unpack it at the lawyer's office, filing paperwork. It just doesn't do it for me, I'm afraid.
She's always doing business things as well, isn't she? She's always talking about business or work.
Yeah. And she's also very straight-laced in many ways in how she because of following her religion as well. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but she doesn't drink. Well, originally she was a big no to sex before marriage as well, wasn't she? But I think she's dropped that. I think maybe the Nazirs have just all agreed that they're going to follow all of the rules of the Quran except that one. Because you got Idris this week, haven't you? He was like, no, I don't drink. No, I don't gamble. Want to come back to my place, Leanne? Where you can get busy in the sack.
This is exactly like every other religion.
They've all got their bits that they turn a blind eye to.
Don't pay attention to the bits that you don't like.
Yeah. Anyway, but Alia has set out her I want 45 grand, hasn't she?
And he's like, oh gosh. Well, he rolls his eyes and agrees. And then later on, Sam and Idris are playing chess. And I don't know if he's a genuinely nice guy who wants to befriend Sam because he thinks it's the right thing to do, or if he just wants to get into Leanne's pants.
I get the impression that generally he is a nice guy, but he's not adverse to
getting his hands dirty
if it benefits him. Like, because we'll have these string of episodes where he seems to be a bit of a ducker and a diver, but generally a nice chap, but then all of a sudden he'll be slamming someone up against the wall, and it's not out of character for him.
No, I think he's an interesting character. I think he is, and I do think he's long term. That's what I said. Right, so this phone call is from somebody called Sana.
Yeah.
Or Sani.
I don't remember.
And there's been a development, and really this person is somebody who was going to help him out with money, but doesn't in the end. Yeah?
Yeah.
So he gets back to his seat, and Ollie starts talking about being a fan of playing cards. Fan of gambling, or... He says something. He doesn't
but only with cryptocurrency, Gemma. Now that's a proper rush, says Ollie.
What a dull thing to say.
He's trying really hard. We set in the challenge.
It's like I enjoy gambling, but only when it's on a screen.
No, he
only when I can go to a subreddit and talk to other people about shorting GameStop.
But he was using proper money this week, wasn't it? I know it wasn't his, but yeah, this is their attempt to add an interesting string to Ollie's bow. And to be honest, it makes him one step above Alia, doesn't it? She wasn't getting her hands dirty with this. She wouldn't even been allowed to be told that this was going on.
Right, so we get the impression, at this point, Michael and I, that we're going to not understand anything that happens in this storyline for a brief moment of time. Because it looks like that Idris is plotting an illegal poker night.
There must be other games that people play.
I think it's well understood by everyone except us.
No, I don't think it is.
It's really... Right, so let's carry on. So Leanne comes in and Sam gives her and Idris a chance to talk, and Idris tells her that Ali's demanded more money and that he can't get any money off Sana. And Leanne says, well, what about me? I could give you 5 grand at a push. And he's like, oh my gosh. So not only does she... So she's got a stake in his 49%. That's what I don't get. Why didn't she just say, I'll give Alia 5 grand and then I get 55%? Nobody thinks, what are they doing? So Gemma and Lauren have a chat about the fact that her and Ollie were supposed to be dating. But nothing seems to be happening. And Gemma's like, get back together with him. And Lauren's like, no, he should come calling to me, not the other way around. So Leanne tells Idris, I'll give you the money tomorrow. And he says, well, for the rest of it, it's work in progress. So then he goes to Alia and says, can I please use the restaurant for a private function tomorrow evening? And she says, all right then, I will ask no questions.
Yeah, it really was, wasn't it?
Wouldn't you want to know more? Anyway, he goes over to Ollie.
She's a lawyer, not a detective, Gemma.
I know. She's like, I don't think asking questions is my job. Goes over to Ollie and says, hey, come to this party tomorrow. And also, Lauren can help out as well if she wants to earn a bit of cash. And he explains that it's this gambling thing. And she says to him, I'm confused. I didn't think you were allowed to gamble. And he says, I'm not, but I can host a party and profit from it if I want to.
I know some people will say similar things about a lot of religions. So massively hypocritical, isn't it? It's at some stage, it's like, oh, what's the point? What's the point in not doing it yourself? He was literally standing there behind Ollie's head, voice telling him what to play. I know.
Well, look, Billy's shot up at drugs in a church. We can't start. Although we did criticise him for that.
What does he do when he takes Leanne to bed? Has he got some kind of get out for that as well?
Don't even go there, Michael. Loads of Christians are the same.
I know. I'm not just saying it's related to Islam, but
there's lots of people that wear woven cloth of two types of thread.
I know.
And we don't have a go at them, do we?
It's all Old Testament, Gemma. All Old Testament.
Right. So, and when they ask him what this party's for, he's like, "Mind your own business." So on Wednesday, he's still trying to find people for this poker night, and sees Ollie, and Ollie didn't realise that it was a poker party, and Ollie Idris explains he wants him to play.
Yeah, at first Ollie was just thinking he was going to be cooking for it, right?
This is so stupid, right?
What?
This is so stupid. I know. I don't know much about poker, but he's right. Everything's riding on the fact that he completely trusts Ollie to be able to play poker with marked cards in a way that nobody works it out, without ever having seen him play poker before or know how good he actually is. Because he could have just been saying anything, like, "Oh yeah, I love poker, it's brilliant." And then he gets there and goes, "Do you know what? I thought this was blackjack. I realise now poker and blackjack are different games." Do you know what I mean? Why don't they play blackjack? I understand that. They play that in James Bond films.
Play
Is that not high?
Snap or anything. Literally, I think we just need to learn. We probably say this every time, but this is
I refuse to.
This is the second time in 12 months that they've had a poker night, because they had it with Kevin and Sally and that lot. It just should have been going asking them. Didn't Kevin bet his car or something the last time that they were playing?
It's like, it's always really funny when you're watching anything poker on TV or in movies, and they put the cards down, and it's like, it's supposed to be some kind of like triumphant moment, and you're like, "Oh wow."
They could make it easy for us. Like, one person could say, "Well, look at this. I've got 3 hearts," and this person says, "Well, I've got 4 diamonds." I get how that's probably better.
Yeah, it's probably better, isn't it?
But this time when it was Ollie versus Fiona, wasn't it
I know, it's like,
royal
"I've got
flush
this
versus
and I've
a
got
full
that."
house?
Like, what's the difference?
I don't know.
I've got 4 elephants. Well, I've got a tiger and a jeep.
Yeah.
Okay, well, what does that mean?
Yeah, I suppose it adds to the tension as a viewer, because they're both revealing their hands, and we're like, "Just somebody claim victory. I'm on the edge of my seat here."
Yeah, I mean, I have played poker, and it has to be explained to me from beginning to end before I play every single time. There's no point in...
Well, anyway.
It's so stupid, such a boring game. So he says to Ollie, "I will give you £300. So Ollie's gone from thinking he was going to a party to now being bribed off to play poker for somebody else. And he's at no point is he in this week. At no point is he gone, "Hang on a minute, Idris. I kind of think I should get a bit more of a cut of this money."
No, he's just happily
It's so
taking.
simple, isn't he?
I know. How much did he win?
26 grand or something.
Yeah, something like that.
It's
and he's
far
just
more
like,
than-
"I'll take my £100 cut. There you go."
What are you doing,
Boss.
Ollie, you boring weirdo? So Ali gives Idris the keys for the night and says, "I've had another offer on the business, so you better hurry up and give me the money, because they've got it ready to go and you don't. So get on with it." And Idris is like, "Can you just shut up?"
Hold your horses, Alia.
So they have the puka party at Speed Daal. All the lights are down. Idris says, "Don't tell anybody, especially Anne and Alia.
They can never find out."
They can never find out." And the players come down, and one of them, as you've already revealed, is Fiona, the person who Ronnie owes a gun to, who has been bribing the garage and what's his face?
Yeah,
who
she
hasn't
was-
been in it for years.
Carl. Yeah, she was in charge of all the fake MOTs,
Yeah.
wasn't she? Didn't
So
expect...
she's not just...
I forgot. I should have. I didn't expect to see her again.
No,
Honestly,
I
I
didn't.
should, because I'd forgotten that Ronnie owes her one.
owes her a favour.
Yes.
So, okay. Is she going to end up being a bit like Greg Woods? Who did he play?
Rick Neelan.
Rick Neelan, where she just is a villain for like years before she dies.
Why not? I mean, Corrie is desperately in need of villains at the moment.
I'd
aren't
rather
they?
it was one person than just random bloke 1 and bloke 2 turning up because of some dodgy travel company or whatever.
No, I don't think so. I don't think she's going to come back again.
No,
I think
I'd
they just
rather...
wanted to
No, that's not
tie
what
it in
I
with the
said.
Ronnie.
I said I'd rather that was the case. You said no, you wouldn't.
Oh.
What would you rather? Would you rather have nameless people every time? That's what I was saying. I want to have... If you're going to insist on boring gangsters, I'd rather they were the same person every time. Why not?
It was all a bit of a coincidence that they happened to know each other, didn't it?
Which it's just insinuated. It's insinuated that because they're all dodgy, they all know each other.
Okay.
Like how all the ice cream men know each other.
Yeah.
So the game starts and Fiona wins the first round, apparently. And then Kit comes in because he's heard about this from Brody and he's nosy and he wants to know what's going on. And I think he's also a bit drunk and mad about breaking up with Sarah.
He's been getting phone calls, hasn't he, that he's not too happy about.
Yeah, that's right.
And he thinks he's going to gamble away his woes.
Yeah,
or
so
something.
he comes in and Fiona's like, that's a cop, I'm leaving. And he says, I'm not here as a copper, I want to join in. And he's gone to the cash point, bless him. He's got all of his rainy day fund out. He's got loads of money. So somehow it goes from Ollie's got £300 to put in to they're playing with 30 grand on the table. I don't know how that happened, considering that Ollie didn't have any money of his own apart from £300.
Yeah.
How did that happen? It doesn't make any. Do you ever play a poker match where people don't have equal amount of money to begin with?
Yeah, probably. I think it.
No, but you
must.
But
do,
why would you?
because
Right? If I had £10,000, why would I want to play poker with someone who's only got £300? I could only win £300 off him. He could win £10,000 off of me.
No, but I think some of the other colleagues that came along with Fiona, they were probably similarly loaded, and she was able to get some of their cash.
I know that when you play poker, very often you will say, "I'll bet my house on this hand," won't you? Or my car, or my wife,
especially in the soap,
or my lizard, or whatever.
Yeah.
So I know you can add more money in as you go, obviously, but I don't. Anyway, so somehow Kit goes in. They have a round, and Kit's like, "Oh, £500 extra," and Fiona's like, "Oh, good." And then Ollie goes, "I've got £3,000. I just found it on the floor. I put that in as well." And this is when they end up with 30 grand. And Fiona has this like big speech where she says to Ollie and Kit that you're a pair of pussies, and I think you're bluffing. And then she goes, "Look at this, all of my cards. I've got the Tower of Woe and 3 skeletons dancing in a field."
And the Joker. That's the best card of them all.
And the Joker, and the card that explains the rules. And they're like, "What?" Kit's like, "No, I can't possibly beat that. I've just got the packet that the cards came in." And then Ollie goes, "Well, I've got all the kings. Now that sounds good."
I've got 5 kings.
Yeah, I've got 5 kings because I found another one. I bought my own cards. I've just been feeding them in.
I got the King of Hearts, Diamonds, Spades, Clubs, and Ian McLeod. Special Collector's Edition.
I've got Tony Warren.
Oh, no.
Oh, my gosh, instant win. So, he wins. Fiona's fuming. Lauren's smirking. Idris is relieved. Ollie's just like
Fiona
sat
had been
there.
a bit of a massive cow to Lauren, hadn't she?
Oh, she's like, "Oh, shut up and bring me a drink."
Yeah.
I think she also says something else horrible to her as well. And I think, doesn't Lauren go, "Shut your mouth"?
Maybe.
They have a confrontation.
Yeah.
So, everyone leaves. Fiona's like, "Oh, God, I can't believe it. I'm really great at poker."
So embarrassing. She's fuming, isn't she?
Why would you play a game where you could lose 25 grand?
That's the thrill of it.
You play the lottery. What they should have done is all bought a ticket for the lottery and sat around the tape watching the TV to see what comes out. Or they could go to the shop and buy £10,000 worth of scratch cards. That would have kept him going for an evening, wouldn't it?
That would have been good, yeah.
Like, and then Ollie could have had his £300 worth of coins that they could have used to scratch the...
Yeah, they could have all pulled their money together, bought scratch cards, and then just taken one at random from the middle of the table, and whatever you win, you keep.
Yeah. Or
I'd have got that.
They could have got their £10,000 and had like a Dragon's Den session and got all of the residents of the street to come and give them their batty business ideas.
Yeah.
There's so many better ways to invest this money than just a poker game, but hey, I'm not going to tell people what to do with their lives. Right, so...
I think they should have done a poll on the ITV social media about who's the most interesting character, and then the person who gets the most votes gets all the money. Problem is, who have you got? Ollie,
That's
Fiona.
Rude. Very rude. Yeah, this wasn't... I mean, Kit's the best one in this whole scene.
I think he probably is.
But it was, I've said this before, I think there should be a rule on Coronation Street that you have to have... Every scene has to have a character that's been in it. And I would have said before this last couple of years started, it should be 5 years minimum. But now I'm going to give Corey a break and say 2 years.
Well, Kit's been in it for 2 years now, hasn't
All right, then I'll go back to 5 years. Every scene should have a character in it that you know is a Coronation Street character. You should never be flicking through telly, not that anyone does that anymore, and gone, who is this?
What am I watching here?
Ollie, nobody, you wouldn't know who Ollie was. You wouldn't know who Lauren was. You wouldn't know who Idris was.
Kit, Brody,
like
Fiona.
These are all characters that have just got in the show.
Yeah.
And I've said many times before, that's not a problem. in isolation, but when you have hundreds of them all in a scene together, and Kit's the most senior member of the show, you've got to be kidding me now.
Yeah. And that, it's not like there aren't plenty of other characters. I mean, it's funny, compare this to the business scene last Friday, when you had Brian, Rita, Dev, all of those legends around the same table in Speed Daal.
And we were like, wow, this never happens, because it doesn't.
Yeah.
So, Fiona's mad. She leaves. Idris gives Lauren and Brody their pay slips. And all the way through this, Brody has been getting very drunk. Because he's sad he's got rejected by Kit. And then Brody's like, Idris, I could have done this. Why didn't you ask me to do it? And Idris says, no, you're sloppy, you're a bad liar, you've been drinking.
Why does Brody think? I mean, I think I probably would trust Ollie over Brody.
Yeah.
How old is he? 16, 17? I don't think...
I don't understand how
such confidence, saying, I could have easily won this, professional group of criminal card sharks.
Yeah.
Really, Brody?
But the fact that Ollie won it is stupid to me as well.
But Gemma, he's an expert. It was explained very clearly at the beginning of the story.
If you play poker, right, to a reasonable standard that you think you'd be up for playing for actual money, would you understand how to play it with marked cards? Is it like really intuitive, or is it...
Was that what it was?
Yeah.
Are you sure? I don't remember.
Yes, it was marked. It just told him that he marked the cards.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear that bit. You were watching it also saying it's a bit... You didn't think that Ollie had much of a poker face, did you?
No! Because at the end, when he wins, he kind of gives Idris this look like he might as well have winked. And then Idris is like going, no, don't look at me like that. And Fiona doesn't even notice this.
Well, it serves her right.
Ollie's got no poker face. I do not know how he, even with marked cards, how this happened. But whatever. I kind of like poker games because it's like stupid magic rules that don't make any sense to me. Like I said, you might as well just like pull a bouquet of flowers out your sleeve and go, there you go, that's top trumps. Whatever. So, Lauren and Ollie end up having a nice night because they go back and kiss.
Yeah, she's turned on by his
winning streak,
poker skills.
But
what's that? You got £30,000?
Yeah, but she's not happy to hear that those winnings are actually Idris's. And Ben's overheard a bit of this and hears that he's been given a few £100. And Ollie lies with his terrible poker face and tells him that Idris has been paying him to design a menu for him, which is a weird thing to pay somebody extra for when that's their job.
Well, his job is to cook.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean he just has to design a menu as well. He just has to cook what they tell him.
I'm sorry, but if you're my chef and you need to be paid extra to come up with some menu ideas, you should want to do that. That would be what you want to do.
Well, it's not. It's all made up anyway.
I know it's all made up. All of this is made up. Ben believes it. He says he doesn't trust Idris. Nobody likes this guy apart from Leanne.
Literally nobody, do they?
Nobody.
And Brody occasionally when he's not being pushed up against the wall by him.
So, Idris is by himself in Speed Daal and Leanne comes in and he tells her, I've got some money from a mate and now I can buy Speed Daal. And Brody comes in and drops him in it completely about this poker thing. And Leanne works out everything that's happened and gets really mad and storms off.
Yeah, it's because Brody was still a bit annoyed that Idris underestimated his
poker skills. So Idris pushes Brody up against the wall and says, if you cross me like that, you'll regret it. And then Brody scurries out.
Mm-hmm. There was a few scenes this week of characters kind of turning it up a notch, wasn't there? Because we had Sarah in prison going, "You come anywhere near my son, I'll bloody kill you,
bitch, and I'll make you eat your own hair."
There was that was a theme in this week, and I was saying to you yesterday that people stropping off was also happening quite a lot in Corrie this week. So we had Glenda stropping off, we had George stropping off to his family retreat, we had, Lucy's dropping off all the time. Celeste dropped off when she had that last meeting with Todd.
Well, Todd's dropped off at some point, surely.
Yeah. They were revisiting that.
The strop
a little bit.
It was a week of the strop.
Mm-hmm.
So Thursday, Leanne's clopping down the road and Idris is chasing after her, and she's like, "Leave me alone! I don't want you.
I'll never forgive you.
I'll never forgive you. I don't want to be a business partner or a sex partner."
Yeah,
it's all off. So they end up at the cafe, and
I'm never going to speak to you again. Fancy coffee?
yeah, do you want to split a Danish? So they go to the, Idris is grovelling, and then she says, okay, I give up.
It didn't take very long, did it? She's like, look, these episodes are only 22 minutes now. I suppose I better just say okay.
She's looking at her watch and she's like,
the storyline's been going on for 2 weeks. Let's just end it now, okay?
Let's just end it now. Idris, Alia, Leanne and Adam meet up in Speed Daal and say, let's do the deal that we said we were going to do. We already said we were going to do it, and we said we were going to do it weeks ago. So should we just do it? And they're like, I don't know, should we make another episode out of it? I don't know. Leanne says, let me just add a little wrinkle into this that should have been discussed before now, but for some reason I'm just bringing it up at the moment. I want it written into the contract that I'm the majority partner. I'm a senior partner, I've got 51%. And Idris is like, oh, I guess that's fine. I don't understand this. Okay. Ollie gets a text from Lauren saying, let's carry on where we left off yesterday, which is probably like, I don't know, what's he got? He's probably showing her his, like, Superman collection or something. You know, I've got the original #1 issue.
That'd be quite interesting, wouldn't it, of him?
Yeah, but you can't touch it.
He's probably talking her through, like, his spice collection in the Rover's kitchen.
He's like, this pepper is from... this pepper is from...
And she's like, whoa, Ollie, don't do it all in one night.
Yeah.
Let's carry this on tomorrow.
Yeah, we got through to C, cumin. let's revisit. So Fiona comes in, and like I said, in the short, she recognises that Ollie is the chef there, and he was introduced to her yesterday as a random person they just had no knowledge of, and now she realises that he works for him, and so she's really mad. She goes off. Then we have this side quest where everyone gets their results for...
Oh yeah, it was GCSEs this week, wasn't it?
Sam's got what did he get?
67, 78%.
Which is not how you score things.
Yeah. They're changing the grading systems, right? Because everyone understands A star to F.
Oh yes,
but then they changed it recently to numbers, and
it wasn't that
up to 9, where 9 is the top as you can get. And Sam's like, "Well, I got 68%." It's like, no, just tell us your grade, Sam. Just say it's a B.
I think it's like a B.
I think it was, yeah, but. It's a bit sucky, really, because if you're so good at maths, if that's your like specialist subject so much that you can afford to do it a year early, you're probably not going to be that satisfied with a B. And I don't think he was he?
No.
He got his little box with an
again.
iPad or a phone or whatever it was that he was given. And it's like, oh, have I got to do it again next year? Because you can always do retakes, as little Susie was reminding us all a million times this week. So Sam's not particularly pleased, but the rest of the family are chuffed with him. And then you add Will. What did he get?
He failed a load of stuff.
He flunked a load of stuff because he was in the middle of being groomed. He was being groomed, and Sam was getting spectral visitations by evil Roy. And he did better than Will anyway. But he's like, what do you do now? Do you do it again next year? He did only do one. Slacker. Yeah.
So everyone's like, oh, great. And then Leanne decides to spoil it all by going, guess what, everyone? While we're celebrating, let me just stick my oar in.
Let me just make this about me
Let me just take the attention off the child who's just been diagnosed with a mental illness, but still managed to get a B in maths, which is probably more than I got, Leanne. And then she goes...
I don't think Leanne got many GCSEs, no. Although, didn't she make fun of Nick this week for only getting a D in maths or something?
Well, do you know what? I'm going to toot my horn here. I got the same score in maths as Sam did.
Me too.
Yeah, I hated maths.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have been forced to take it.
I don't think I would have got the same if I'd have taken it a year early, mind. But...
No way. I really didn't deserve that B because I refused to be put into the lower set, even though I clearly didn't know what was going on.
Well, I should have got a bloody A in maths. I was just useless at... What?
And you couldn't get lower than a B. It was B or fail. So I really would love to know, or maybe I wouldn't, how close I was to actually failing maths.
Yeah, well, I've told you this before, and I probably said it on the podcast as well. I don't know. But when we maths GCSE, we didn't do coursework. My maths teacher decided that we do a coursework exam where they sit us there for an hour and a half, 2 hours, how long it is, ever it is, with just like one big problem to solve. And I hated that. I could do coursework, but I couldn't do it at pressure. It's probably because my dad could help me with coursework. So if we'd have been able to do coursework, I think I would have got an A in maths, and that B is just it's sitting there with me. I'll never get over it. But hey, congratulations to Sam. Nobody cares.
Has anyone ever looked at any of your certificates?
I don't think so. No.
I might change mine on my CV. So anyway, she says, "Guess what, everyone? I'm going into business with Idris." at Speed Daal, and Nick's like, whoa.
It's like, I hope you know what you're getting into, Leanne.
She's like, yeah, Idris's pants.
He's, as I said on the short, I just am living for Nick being utterly petty about
Is
this.
he petty, or is he just realistic?
I think it's a bit of both, but I think it's because it's Nick, it's coming across as petty. He's coming across as a bit pathetic and like,
No,
he's
I don't
the
think,
loser.
I don't think so. It's
and,
not
like,
giving me that impression.
But Nick is... nobody wants to take Nick's side, do they?
I do.
But this
I love
time,
Nick.
it's like, yeah, you are absolutely
You're
right,
right.
Nick. But because it's you that's saying it, people are probably all going to flock to Idris now.
No, I like Nick now. So Leanne and Nick are in. Leanne is left with Idris in the foyer having a nice drink, and she's like, "Nick's wrong. We're going to make a great team. Just don't pull any more of those stunts." And they have a kiss. Mm-hmm. They're writing her really badly, aren't they?
She's just newly in love.
I know that I'm being hard on her, but really, if you're a Leanne fan, you can't like this. This is making her look like an absolute moron.
Yeah.
Isn't she? Like, 1 minute she's like, I can't... Why were you so mad about it? About the poker game then? That's the sort of stupid crap you used to do.
This is only, 2 years after she fell for a very similarly charming, suave, stubbly Rowan at the Institute. Like...
She's just a floozy.
He's pretty much used that. He's going to ask her to do a, what was it, defrag or what did
Should come and defrag my hard drive.
Upload session or a malware session. He's going to be getting her to do that next. And Leanne's just walking straight into some handsome stranger's charms again. And yeah, it's going to come. Probably won't. Well, I don't know. How much did she lose on the Institute? Because Amy lost 10 grand. I can't remember how much Leanne
How's she
did.
got 5 grand now? Just spare. What she?
Well, she had Les's money,
unemployed
didn't
for
she?
ages. Oh, okay.
She had Les's money.
Right. So Fiona stops running in the street and says, "You owe me a favour. I'm going to cash it in. I'll be back in touch about how. I want that money back that I got conned out of last night.
Yeah.
I'll tell you how to help me later." She still doesn't get her gun back at the end of this, does she? Nobody knows where the gun is, though. The gun's missing.
Mm-hmm. Jodie knows.
Jodie's going to get involved in this, isn't she?
Jodie is going to get involved in this, yeah.
Friday, Adam asks Idris about the cash and where it came from. And Leanne's like, "I've heard that we all have a magic money tree."
I can't believe they put that into the script.
Yeah.
That's so
what we've
funny.
always said.
It is the Weatherfield magic money tree, and Leanne's just like made it canon now, hasn't she?
Yeah. He shook the magic money tree and 25 grand came out.
That was a fourth wall break if ever I've heard one before.
And then she's like, "Stop giving Idris dirty looks, thanks." And then Idris tells Leanne that Ronnie's giving him dirty looks. And she says, "Oh, he's probably just upset because Debbie's got dementia." It can't be you, Idris.
Why would anyone have anything against you?
So, Adam and Idris and Alia and... Oh, no, who was it? They all play darts. They play darts in a team and the men win or something. They don't even show the darts. Well, they do sometimes.
No, Idris threw a 20 with his first dart.
It's supposed to go for bullseye. That's the best one, obviously. It's the smallest one.
It wasn't a treble 20 either, just a plain old 20. But better than I could do. I wouldn't even hit the board. But I thought I quite enjoyed those scenes. I know that it wasn't the most thrilling of characters that were involved, but having a group of Corrie characters gathering round the darts board in the pub did feel somewhat traditional Coronation Street.
I didn't believe it, though. It felt unrealistic because it was Alia who decided they should all play darts, and that seemed far too exciting for her. Like, she goes, "Oh, let's play darts together." "Alia, you all right? Have you got sepsis?"
No, I didn't mind it. I thought it was nice. It was nice having like a kind of a family get together sort of thing.
So Nick and Toya come in and watch them, and then over here, after they've won, after the boys win, Adam and Idris, Nick and Toya overhear Leanne saying to Idris, "Do you want to come over and stay at my house overnight?" And then...
No, I thought Nick and Toya were involved in the game as well.
No, they were watching.
Were they?
Yeah, because at the end, Idris says, "And the crowd went wild," and then Nick and Toya go, "Yay."
Yeah, but I thought that was because... No, I thought that Toya went yay because she was on the losing team.
I really couldn't care less about who was involved because you haven't written it down.
Sorry, both watched it. Just saying what I remember.
Nick and Toya overhear Leanne asking, and then Nick's like, and she goes, "Oh, are you listening? Ear wiggling? What's your opinion?" You know what their opinion is, Leanne. You know what it is.
Nick's like, "Well, You're clearly serious about each other, aren't you?
And then he says to Adam, she's going to do what she wants anyway, it's none of my business. I just don't like him.
Yeah. Maybe that's going to be the next whodunit. It's going to be Nick and Adam and Ben, who are all going to be
And
accused.
Ollie and Fiona.
Accused of bumping off Idris.
Well, it would actually be interesting because there's lots of reasons to kill him.
So I'm kind of, what my hope is now is that maybe like Monday's episode, if we have to see the sign on the dotted line, that happens then, and then maybe can we just have a little bit of a break from it, you know?
I don't know if it is going to end up that way now because...
Oh no, not with Fiona involved.
If Fiona's trying to get the money off of him, he won't have it if he spends it. But who's he giving it to? Alia.
Yeah.
So is Alia going to get involved? Because that's going to just pour cold water on everything.
I wonder
because Fiona will be like, I'm going to blackmail you into giving me the money back because this money was won in an illegal gambling session that took place in the Speed Daal when you can't have a hat. And Alia would just go, I'll phone the police. The police would come and then sort everything out, and then it would be like how every single conundrum should actually end on Coronation Street. Someone just phones the police and the police come and sort it out.
Yeah, but then they say they don't want to press charges and it just makes it more complicated. What do you think that Ronnie's involvement's going to be? Is she going to try and get him to rob Speed Daal or something along those lines? Or he's very good at mugging people in the street because he did it with Carl, didn't he? He could just like mug Idris or something.
Mug Alia. She's an easy target. If he broke into Speed Daal and stole it, Leanne would be personally offended by that. She'd say, if anyone's going to break in to Speed Daal, it's me.
Yeah.
Okay, I know how to do this.
Yeah.
It's a honoured tradition.
I wonder...
Actually, she'd probably break into Bistro by accident. Oh, damn it. Oh, it's muscle memory.
So Brody is not in Idris's good books at the moment either, is he? So perhaps Brody and Ronnie might kind of team up together. Do you think that at this point Brody is in too deep, or is he going to try and weasel his way back into Idris's affections, or has Idris kind of...
No, Idris needs him.
I think he does.
And Brody knows too much. He knows that Brody's just a silly little kid. He doesn't have like a proper dad in his life, and he's kind of providing that, you know, male influence that Brody subconsciously craves.
Well, Kit's a bit occupied to provide it at the moment, isn't he?
Yeah, well, it isn't no excuse. But, so he knows, I think he knows how far I can push him. And I also think that Brody's not the first kid he's done this to.
Yeah, no,
He knows how to target somebody who's vulnerable.
Which is like, I wonder if he is weighing up Sam as well, or has he already done it and thought, I'm not going to get anything out of him?
Well, maybe he thought, when Ollie said cryptocurrency, he thought, this kid's a nerd, he can probably do it. He's got to be in maths. That's all you need to be a crypto villain, isn't it?
Crypto villain.
Yeah.
Okay, right. Anything else to add about this story before we move on? Or just kind of happy it's over for now?
No, but one thing I was thinking about the show in general.
Yes.
And about how we score it. And about how things are going. And lots of people are very negative about Corrie at the moment. And I also feel the same way to a certain extent. But I don't always think that our scores reflect how we feel necessarily. And I think we subconsciously grade Coronation Street on a curve, you know. I think that when it's crap, it gets adjusted. Like, for Corrie at the moment, this is like just spoiler alert, this is a 3-week, right? But if this was going on 5 years ago, this would have been a 1 or a 1.5 or a 2.
I think you're right.
But you have to go with what you're being given. And at the moment, we're not being given great things.
Well, I'm like, when we do the grading for the shorts, I've just been bog standard, like I said in the last week's podcast, since I don't know how long. There's been the odd bobbins thrown in here and there when it's been particularly of like, oh my god, I really... If didn't I give it a bobbins this week for an episode that was mostly revolved around Kit and Idris and these characters that we barely knew or cared about? But
I gave one banging this week.
I think you maybe gave it on Tuesday, Wednesday. I think maybe it was Tuesday for you, the poker night episode. But I don't,
because it was so stupid.
I don't want to be giving these bangings out for everything. It needs to be an episode that I'm really like, oh, you know what, I really enjoyed that, or oh, that was really exciting. And there just hasn't been that level of excitement for me. There's been like the best I can hope for, it feels like at the moment, was like, oh, that was all right.
Yeah, I know.
And it's a real shame, and I don't know how they can get out of this. There were like kind of there were pockets of, oh, that was a good scene. I mean, this week, what helped this week buoy it up was Glenda, right? And she got a not insubstantial part of the last 2 episodes of the week, and she's still a newish character, not super new anymore, I suppose. But
she's like
just putting her
senior
at the heart of some scenes in this upcoming story we're about to talk about. It made such a huge difference, and it was like this weight, this dark, criminal, boring, depressing weight had been lifted, and it's like, here's Glenda camping it up on the Rovers. That's exactly what we want to see on the show. Mm-hmm. And everything related to that. Even like the scenes yesterday where Brian and Maggie were talking about their favourite confectionery items. Yes, that was good. And maybe to get a banging week, or banging episode, it just needs to focus on that more and just people having a nice jolly time. I think that's what we're all craving for at the moment.
Does it make a soap magazine cover?
I know. I'm wondering, and I literally, I've got no idea what they're going to do, but these adverts in the Rovers that we've seen for Manchester Pride, that's next week, right? The last week of August. So I do wonder if Corrie is going to be doing anything for that, and that could be fun, potentially. But I've not heard of any filming going on in Canal Street or in the wider world of Manchester. So my kind of fear is they'll talk about characters going off to the Pride and then come back and we won't actually get to see it.
That was great.
Yeah. Although, I mean, it still led to... We had that a few years ago when Paul went off to the Pride and then he came back with the drag queens, didn't he? They were helping him back. And then that was quite fun. And then we had the drag queen nights in the Rovers. That's what I want more of. Not people trying to do one over each other and threaten each other and scam each other. I don't mind that a little bit, but it's just a little bit too much. And that's why I would say, on the whole, I have enjoyed this Barry Celeste story, because although Todd was, as I said earlier, an utter arsehole on Friday about it, the story itself just had a sense of lightness and campiness and levity to it, don't you think?
Yeah.
And then you got this character of Celeste, who's clearly a bit of an OTT character, and she said this week that she's only got 6 weeks left, so this is a temporary character. we're not going to get an extension for Celeste, as far as I understand, unless she's trying to scam somebody, but she's going through an awful lot of effort to try and scam someone into thinking that she's about to shuffle off a mortal coil. So they kind of know that there's only a short shelf life, so they can kind of throw all of this silly Dolly Parton nonsense at her. With the 6 weeks that she's got left, she's not going to be starring in all 6 of those weeks, is she? She'll get probably 3 weeks max if you're lucky. And so, yeah, it's been quite a nice relief for me to have something a little bit more classic Corrie. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I just love... Yeah, classic Corrie. Bring it back. Why not?
I mean, there were still a handful of newish characters on here. No, Celeste, obviously. Christina's still relatively new, but she just fits into that mould.
I know, so well.
Whole lot more easily than a lot of these other characters that they're bringing in, yeah.
That's because they're making characters do stuff that other characters have never done, you know?
Mm-mm. Well, Todd and Summer have been jetting it off to Thailand, haven't they, recently? And they're back this week.
I forgot that she went with
She did.
Oh dear.
I think. And then,
yeah, she did, yeah.
Yeah. And then straight away he's getting walked in the shower, which is seemingly... It happens more in Corrie than it does in real life. It was only a few weeks ago that... Was it Nina walked in on... What was it?
It was Asher and Sienna
at
getting
it.
it on.
Yeah. So is there a problem in Coronation Street with door locks?
Yeah.
I've never... Oh no, actually, I did once, actually. Almost never walked in on somebody doing something either naked or what have you. But I just... Anyway, it was somewhat amusing.
It happened.
It happens. George reminds him that he's back in work tomorrow. We're going off to Somerset to see our Shuttleworth cousins down there. So they all go out to the pub for a brief get together before imminently departing again, splitting up, and they're having a joke with Todd about something. They're kind of making fun of him, poking at him a little bit, aren't they, Christina and that lot? And Todd, I can't remember what it was about now, but cut a long story short, Todd ends up announcing to everybody that Christina has fallen off the wagon with her insane spending addiction, because he found that out just before he went off, didn't he, because of the parcel thing. So she'd have been hoping to keep that quiet, and then George massively overreacts to this by declaring, "Oh, stuff you, Christina, I'm going down to Somerset on my own to see my cousins." Am I alone in thinking that he was going a bit OTT here? What do you think?
Yeah, it was for a plot reason.
I haven't worked out what that reason is yet. Like, what has happened this week in Coronation Street that would have been
Christina
different?
Was around.
Yeah, but why did George even need to be going off to see his cousins? Like, why couldn't he have just stayed here?
Because the actor's on holiday for some reason. I don't know. Sometimes what they do doesn't make sense. And we said this loads of times. They cover for some people's absence and not others. But those same characters could have been off screen and you wouldn't have noticed because of the way they run the show. Where's Carl? Did anyone say Carl's going to Germany for 3 months for some reason? No.
It was peculiar, and I think it just looked bad on George.
And Eva,
to be
where's
honest.
she been? And Maggie, you know, like people disappear for ages and you don't notice.
It made George look really petty and sort of jumping the gun, didn't he? Because
he'd been supportive previously.
He had been supportive, and I would have thought that George's reaction would be like, "What, Christina? You're still doing that? Oh, that's really disappointing." But we can get something like that. I mean, considering how much of a nice guy he is.
He seemed to understood that it was an addiction, right? When he went to the therapy session.
Yeah.
If you know anything about addiction, you surely know that you don't just go, "I've been addicted to this behaviour or substance, but now I've realised it's a problem, I'm going to stop doing it." And then you stop and you never relapse. That's no way realistic at all.
Well, it was also really bad for Todd. I mean, I'm blaming Todd partly of this as well, because when was it that he went off? 3 weeks ago? 4 weeks? I've lost track. But how does he know that Christina has still been continuing her spending addiction in the time he's been away in Thailand? As he might have been dropping her into something when she's actually, no, I've not been doing that again.
She could have, like...
I am still a little bit confused about this story, because it doesn't feel like it's going anywhere yet, does it?
Which story?
The spending addiction. It's like it doesn't feel like they're trying to teach us about spending addiction. There haven't been any huge consequences of her having her spending addiction.
No, it just feels like they picked something out of a hat to give Christina and George some kind of not marital, but relationship issues.
Well, and she had brief fallouts with Mary and
but they
co
set
because
it
she was
up
using
for months.
Well, yeah,
it's set up at Christmas.
Yeah, I don't always mind if things don't have huge payoffs, but the fact that they've been going on for so long about what are these secret phone calls that Christina's getting? What's going on here?
How come she's always buying things?
Yeah, and it hasn't turned into anything. But anyway, if this was us, occasionally, podcast listeners, I don't know whether you can believe this or not, but occasionally there might be bickers between us in real life when the microphones are.
No.
Yes, we do. If we were going to visit family, either of our families, literally later that day, or maybe the next day, I can't remember the time frame on this, and I'd done something stupid, or it's got to happen at least once in our lives, Gemma, but if one of us had done something wrong, can you believe either of us would say, "Well, I'm going to visit my family on my own now"? You wouldn't. We'd probably just go together and be grumpy with each other in the car, and hopefully by the time we got to Somerset or wherever, we might have thrashed it all out and said, "Well, we're going to have a nice time anyway." She was thinking she was going to Somerset. She was like having a nice little summer holiday, and he was like, "Screw you, Christina."
What he did was worse.
Well, who did?
George.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know. I'm agreeing with you. We
could
argue about it.
It's really harsh, which is why I'm saying I don't think it's in character with George for him to have had a strop. I was saying earlier, everyone's stropping off, and it's like, yeah, I get it, Leanne strops all the time, but George doesn't. Anyway, I don't know what it was all about, but I don't think the story was worse without him. I just think he ended up looking bad. So, Tuesday comes around, and Christina's still pretty narked that Todd dropped her in it yesterday, but Sean kind of broke as a peace between them temporarily. James comes along. Do you remember James was in it this week for all of about 10 seconds? And he was like, "Oh, boys' night tonight. Todd and Sean were going to go in the Rovers, have a nice boys' night together, and Christina manages to wangle an invitation to it as well. She's one of the lads.
I don't know if somebody put the same prompt into both scripts by accident, but there were two bits this week where Glenda and or Christina invite themselves to something that's clearly not intended for them to go to.
Yeah, they're just like hanging around with the gays, Gemma, Christina and George. Christina and Glenda.
Sometimes they may wish to do things with themselves that don't involve Christina and Glenda. That's all I'm going to say.
Exactly.
You don't always want to go.
They might be talking about things or comparing things.
They might want to just have a private conversation that doesn't involve you.
But anyway, so Christina manages to get this invite to the boys' night, and she's just a bit mopey over George not going, so she decides to go home, and I don't think much came out of that either.
Why did she even invite herself?
She wants to have fun. But she tells James and Sean, keep an eye on Todd. So Todd's basically gets his knickers in a twist this week, doesn't he? That people are keeping an eye out on him.
He comes back from Thailand with this crappy attitude that he then reveals at the end of the week is, I don't care about anyone anymore because I'm fed up with being a doormat, which is what he said this to Summer, and stupidly, Summer's already had this big grand speech she made herself like a month ago when she was being treated like a doormat, and she said, I'm not going to stand for this anymore, I'm going to do what I want from now on and not be...
Oh, yeah.
And what happened?
Nothing. If most people, when they go to Thailand, well, by most people I mean Gail, she came back, with braids in her hair and kind of hippie, chill attitude, and Todd comes back saying, I'm going to be a right arsehole to everybody now. I'm going to revert to the Bruno Langley version of myself and just be a bit of an horrible git again. Although I don't think he came back with that attitude, did he? Maybe, I don't know, is he supposed to have been ruminating over it while he was over there, and just some of the way that he was being treated this week pushed him over the edge? But they're just trying to keep an eye on him. Everyone was just being...
I know,
nice.
Nobody did anything wrong.
Nobody did anything wrong this week. His husband was murdered earlier this year, and I know it was, it was a difficult relationship they had.
Right.
For lack of a better term. But he does it, and his mum's living on the other side of the world, so the neighbours are just being neighbourly and keeping an eye out for him. So. But I don't think we're supposed to be on Todd's side in any of this, are we?
Is that what you are then?
No, we're not. I'm not. I'm just saying, Todd, have a word with yourself. So, Wednesday, this is when Celeste comes in, and she's standing outside number 7, and as the week goes on, there's no explanation about why she's standing outside number 7 looking for Dev. Well, I don't think she says, does she?
No.
But she's knocking on the door, and then somebody or other, Glenda and Todd, say,
so number 7.
She's not in. So, she's there for Dev or Bernie. And the fact that Bernie was in Friday's episode, she was serving in the cafe, I was kind of hoping that when Celeste dropped out of the Shuttleworth, I was hoping that she might storm into the cafe and meet Bernie, and then that part of the plot would progress. But no, we have got next week to wait until that. The main story with Celeste this week is that she's interested in organising a funeral, and so she takes him for a drink so that she can listen to his sales spiel. And unfortunately for myself, I had already seen what the whole deal with this was, and the fact that she was organising the funeral for herself. So I'm glad that she revealed it early-ish, but it was quite funny seeing her talking about, it's for a friend, someone that's...
She's the best person I've ever met.
She's my best friend.
She's so great. She loves this and that, and she's fun.
Yeah,
great.
She kind of carries her own over a couple of days, doesn't she? Talking about how brilliant and this person is, and she's a massive Dolly Parton fan, and she, no expense spared to give her the best send-off of her life. And so by the end of Wednesday's episodes, Todd's like, yeah, we'll do it, but I don't think she agrees straight away. And he heads off into town, doesn't he? So he's on a bit of a self-destructive path.
Going to town.
Anything could happen in town.
Remember that time that Dr. Gaddis left a car in town?
Doctor Who? I've forgotten who you're talking about because they've not been on the show for, 13 months at this point. 13 and a half months. He ends up going to bed with another guy, doesn't he? So he's kind of...
Can't believe it.
That's 2 nights in a row, almost. No, 2 nights out of 3. He's ends up in somebody else's bed, which is soap code for he's not necessarily coping at the moment, and he's finding solace
yeah,
in the arms of shagging.
Shagged a character, someone who's not even a character.
Yeah.
Okay, he's clearly dangerously unhinged.
Yeah. So he's snoozing away in the Undertaker's on Thursday's episode. He's just very hungover. And then Celeste returns with her PA, Fraser, who says, yeah, I've decided I definitely want to go to Shuttleworth's. And
right, Fraser's not her PA. That was a joke.
Oh, was it?
He's actually her next door neighbour, and he says this immediately.
Oh, I missed that bit.
I'm just her neighbour. I'm just here to support her. And Glenda immediately...
While I was writing PA, I missed that. But I wondered whether it was a case of Shelley and the MND PA, and he's actually a bit of a carer
so
for
maybe
her.
he's a carer, no.
But no, just a neighbour.
Glenda fancies him immediately, and all the way through this, I was like, I am so confused. Is this guy not obviously gay?
Yeah, your gaydar was going off wildly, wasn't it, during
Well, I didn't say anything, except in the short I did say good luck, Glenda, because I was concerned. So I'm actually quite relieved that they revealed in the next episode that he is gay, because I know that sometimes actors will play, they might play a straight guy and they're gay, or they might play a gay guy and they're straight, and it doesn't always, like, in this case I'm like, this guy, I think he's obviously supposed to be gay, but how did Glenda not notice?
I didn't pick up on the vibes as much as you did, because sometimes on Coronation Street you will get barely camp characters and performances of straight characters, won't you? Like, Fred Elliott, for example, or Norris. And I didn't know whether it was like that, but I don't think that Fraser was anywhere near as flamboyant as
something
those
to do
two
with that.
were.
I don't know what it was. It was just a vibe, and it's obviously supposed to be there. But I would never say anything if it wasn't the case, I was like, what's happening?
Yeah, no, I didn't get that at all. I was like watching them and going, oh, Glenda's going to have a boyfriend. Isn't this lovely? He seems like a nice guy. And Glenda was just so great this week. When she's on cloud 9 and she's kind of swishing around and doing her little smile. And because usually, she's often very brassy and confident, isn't she? But there was a few little looks that she was given this week. She was like, oh, I'm all of a flutter. I don't know what to do. I thought it was lovely. So it was kind of a shame what ended up happened, really.
Maybe I was being stereotypical with Fraser, and it doesn't reflect very well on me or straight guys, because I was like, this man is being nice to an older lady who's very flamboyant and camp, and he's taking the time to take her to a funeral parlour. Straight guy would never do this. Would he?
Yeah.
Like, drive her to a funeral parlour and help her plan a funeral, which involves wearing Dolly Parton outfits.
Maybe.
And wearing zebra print.
How confident are you, Gemma, that we will get to see any of this funeral? Because I'm kind of about a 20% chance that we might see a sniffed of it at some point.
That's why it's so random about what it is she wants, and because they, like, the writers sent a note to the props department and wardrobe and said, what weird stuff have we got? And they're like, well, we've got a giant hat that says Celeste in rhinestones. We've got a zebra print
I can't remember what else that she wanted.
We've got a Dolly Parton outfit. We've got leather boots.
I think maybe we might see, like, the casket in the Undertaker's or something.
We'll see some, like, bright flowers.
Yeah, unless she decides that she wants to have her funeral in Chariot Square or maybe Speed Daal. I don't think we're going to be treated to that, unfortunately.
Well, not her funeral,
so we'll have to.
Whatever.
Yeah.
What's it called? Reception. Whatever you
well,
call it.
She can have anything she wants there.
Well, I know.
Anyway, she's got 6 weeks tops left. I don't think she says exactly what's wrong with her, but anyway,
she's
the
got
clock
pain
is
in her ribs.
She does have a little bit of a ooh moment, doesn't she, at one point while Todd's on the phone this week, yeah. But yeah, she's just she was just very larger than life and kind of fun to watch.
She's got this. She creates this immediately intimate relationship with Todd that's quite uncomfortable. Like, you're the man I'm going to walk down the final road in my life. You understand my wishes. It's like he doesn't really seem to. He's doing the worst job I've ever seen him do.
Well, it's because he's still hungover, isn't he?
Well,
he's got his ties looking proper bedraggled.
He also, on the next day, like, tells her to shut up and stop going on about it. Doesn't he?
Yeah. Anyway, so everything's going great guns with them there, and with Glenda and Fraser as well. Glenda kind of scurries over to Sean after Fraser leaves and says, I think I'm in love. I've got Fraser's number. Oh, poor Glenda. Poor Glenda.
Gets worse.
It does get a lot worse. But yeah, I think it goes back to the idea of do we want a man for Glenda? Like, I was really excited about the idea when I didn't pick up on the vibes. But
no, I didn't. I wasn't excited at all because it's like, this guy is not for you.
maybe she's more magnificent when she's single. I don't know.
It doesn't matter whether he was straight or not. It was just this guy is quite a nice, quiet, bland. He's not bland, but you know what I mean. He's very quiet. He is not the man for you, Glenda.
Interestingly, fact fans, he was played by the guy who was the pastor in the Sophie and Sean storyline, going back to whenever that was, 2011, 2012. No, it can't have been 12 because that was when the podcast was on. So when Sophie and Sean were going to the church youth club, and I can't remember all the details of the story now. I probably should have looked. But I don't think he was super supportive of the two of them being together. He was
homophobic, I think.
We'll see.
Fair to say.
Yeah. But how the tables have turned.
I don't know if I got any vibes off him then.
No, I don't know. I got no
remember.
idea. Did he play him different? Did he play?
I don't know.
Can he act? Is he a character actor and he can do more than one role?
Loads of characters and actors don't have the same sexuality on Coronation Street. It's just not a big deal. It doesn't matter at all.
No.
And nobody wants to start going down that road of, you can only have so-and-so play this kind of person with sexuality, because it's completely personal. It's got nothing to do with acting.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, Todd goes off to Canal Street. Christina invites herself along just to keep an eye on him. And Todd's just starting to get a bit more uncomfortable with the fact that he can't be left alone.
So Glenda tells Sean that she's arranged to have a drink with Fraser.
Oh yeah.
Which she thinks is a date.
Yes. So Friday, Mary's kind of twittering around Christina, who's mega hungover at the beginning of the episode. Todd's been out all night with the rest of them as well. Does he come back? Yeah, he lumbers in and says, well, look, I'm living my best life. Leave me alone, actually.
He also says something really rude to Glenda, and because she's got this date and she's all fresh and excited and beautiful and glam.
Oh, yeah,
and he's like, you've been shoveling it on with a trowel this morning, I see, you old bitch. And I was like, what is wrong with you, Todd? Why are you being a dickhead?
So anyway, Celeste is back at the Undertaker's again. She's clearly got nothing else going on in her life at the moment. I mean, has she completed everything on her bucket list at this point? Because she seems to be spending all of her living, breathing hours at the moment for arranging this funeral.
I don't know that I would want to spend that much time on it, really. I want to do other things.
Well, she seems like she's the person who's already made the decision, but she
know,
keeps coming up with, what about this?
I don't understand also why Todd's acting like this is such a big, hard job.
Is he?
Yeah, he's like, oh God, here we go. Let's get the notepad out. What crazy ideas you got now? It's really surely a lot of the difficulty in being an Undertaker is like the emotional labour. She's not making you do any of that. She's just telling you she wants a onesie.
It's because he's not in the right frame of mind, and he is going out and he's drinking and he's bonking around as part of his coping mechanism, is he?
To everybody.
Yeah, but it is part of his coping mechanism of, I've been through hell this past 12, 18 months or so.
Do that in Thailand.
Yeah, exactly.
What's he doing in Thailand?
Clearly didn't work.
Is he being an arse there as
well? Anyway, she says he goes up to take a phone call, and it's Glenda, isn't it, who's trying to ask him how he's doing or whatever, and he goes back and he's a bit annoyed about it.
Well, hang on, you've missed out the bit where Celeste tells Todd that Fraser's gay.
Oh yes, she did say that in the scene, didn't she? She revealed that Fraser, she says, "Are we back to your team?" doesn't he? Anyway, he sends her off with a flea in her ear because saying, "Look, you can't just invite yourself in for an unannounced appointment. Who do you think I am, Dr. Gaddas, whoever that is?" And
he's like, "I've got other people booked in. Come and see me next week." And she's like, "I'm dying."
Again,
I can't.
Sympathy for her for that, but yeah, if I went somewhere and said, "Sorry, I got an appointment," I wouldn't strop off like this. It's
because he was rude. He was just so dismissive. It's the way he said it to her.
I think they just need to ease off on ending scenes with characters storming off, and then having the remaining characters kind of react, and then that's the end of the scene.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Glenda's busy waiting for Fraser in the pub later when Todd comes in, and he has a bit of a moan at her. What he doesn't do is tell her what he's learnt about Fraser from Celeste, because he's more annoyed the fact that everybody's talking about him behind his back and saying, "Oh, how's Todd getting on?" and everything.
So stop interfering.
Yeah.
And she says, "Look, you carry on like this, you won't have a friend left." So he storms off.
He does, doesn't he? Bumps into Fraser, who tells him that Glenda has been having some gastric issues recently and she's confined to the toilet. But I'm free, if you're interested. Confident guy, that Todd, isn't he?
Well, it works.
Yeah.
Fraser's like, great.
So when Summer, Mary and Christina go back to the house later, in a completely shocking and unforeseen turn of events, they find Todd with his top off. Not only is everyone going around shagging each other, they always walk around the house half naked afterwards. Why can't they just get dressed in the bedroom before they come down? It would save so many things being caught out, wouldn't it?
They're like, well, look, we have to get dressed down in the living room because that's where I pack my bags. That's where all my clothes are.
Yeah, clearly. So poor old Glenda finds this guy who she's been waiting for, over an hour in the pub with, I think it was, wasn't it? At it with her housemate. Terrible stuff. And Todd's saying, look, no, Todd's like, yeah, so what? Whatever, who cares? And they're all saying, no, Todd, you can't do this. This is so cruel. You need to apologise to Glenda. And he's like, well, no, if anything, she should be thanking me for saving her from the embarrassment of finding out that he was gay. And Glenda gets all kind of theatrical thankful. She's like, oh, thank you so much for rescuing me. And then she flounces off crying. I think Glenda, sadly, probably was the best character for this to happen to from a story point of view, because if it had been, we all love Glenda, don't we? Yes. It couldn't have happened to Christina because she's seeing George. If it had been Summer, that would have probably been quite bad, to be honest, but there's the age difference there. But if he'd have ended up in bed with the guy that his kind of daughter had her eye on, that would have been pretty bad. But because we all adore Glenda so much, I think it made it hurt even worse. So he's kind of left isolated. Summer finds him in the lounge later and says, look, you're just trying to numb yourself with beer and sex. Good luck with the whole emotional detachment thing. Being with Theo really changed you, and I want the old Todd back. And he's like, well, actually, I am the old Todd. I have gone... Early days, Todd... He was horrible. He was only thinking for himself. He was out for number one. And that's exactly what I'm going to do now. I'm going to be taking whatever I want for myself. So, nah.
So get over it, Summer, you square.
Yeah.
And someone's like, I'm not square. I've dabbled in asphyxiation for sexual purposes. But I won't do it again because there's no safe way of doing it.
And some drugs when I was in America
I took drugs in America. And I had a boyfriend with a giant tank of water.
Yes. What's your take on Todd's... reverting to type?
What do you mean to type?
Well, because he has been like this before, hasn't he? It's been a while since we've seen scheming Todd.
I don't know if he's going to fit into the life he's made for himself. Before, it worked because he was he was an antagonist in a show that didn't have that many. And all the ones that they did have were established, and his life kind of fit into that kind of way of living, and he had fallouts with his friends and family, but they weren't that great. He was with Eileen and Jason, and they both were up to things whenever they wanted to.
Well, I think
he's now with Glenda and George, who are both gorgeous people that are really nice,
a good example,
and Mary, who wouldn't mouth, and Summer. These people are all so delicate and fragile and not mean and don't really... They all stand up for themselves, but they are much easier to sympathise with. Whereas, when Todd was falling out with Phelan and Eileen, you didn't feel bad.
I don't. I
you
think
could kind of enjoy it a little bit. Whereas I don't think I enjoyed this at all.
I'd be interested to chart the years that Todd has been in the show, because he obviously had that huge break. And see how many years has he been a baddie, because he obviously came in and he was the good child, wasn't he? He was the perfect son to Eileen versus wayward Jason. And when he was going out with Sarah Louise, it was all very wholesome until the coming out story, which he wasn't the villain in the story per se, but he was stringing Sarah along and not telling her about his newly discovered sexuality while he was still at it with Carl at the same time.
Not that
Carl, another one. But I would say in his first stint of Coronation Street, he was largely a good guy that had a few bad things happen to him. And I don't think it was until after he came back from London that he had a bit more of a person.
Scar.
Yeah, no, he got his scar in Weatherfield.
Oh,
it was when he came back then, and he had a few years worth of London's changed me, because we were. I remember watching him at the time, going, "What happened to Todd to turn him from being this nice, pleasant, wholesome chap into this, arse that he is now?" And it turned out he was just wronged by a man or something along those lines. But he was definitely very kind of schemy, and he made the perfect lackey for Pat Phelan, didn't he?
Yeah.
Because he wasn't afraid to do something if it kind of bettered him. But I think I'm quite glad that they had that scene with Summer, even so, because when I saw him coming downstairs with Fraser behind him, I was like, why would they do this to Todd? Why they turned him into this? And even though it doesn't make total sense, having him explain, well, I've always been like this deep down, it did help make it easier for me to accept and go, oh yeah, I suppose so. But I suppose the question is, do you think that he's actually going to stay like this for long? Is he gone back to being arsehole Todd, or is this just a little phase?
Yeah, I think it's a phase. I think it's just a short-lived drama for a 3-week storyline.
Yeah,
and George will come back and go, Todd, what are you doing, Toddicles? Why are you doing this?
That's what I think. I don't see him staying like this at all. I think...
Well, it's like what Summers did. What on earth was that about?
Yeah, I think that he's got that part of him inside him, but he's had enough years, and he's grown, and he's matured, and he's got a load of people around him that love him.
Surrounded himself with positive people.
Yeah. He was only doing it to... to make himself feel better, and he's having a terrible old time of it, and he doesn't want to be nagged and looked after and micromanaged. But yeah, I can't see it staying. I hope not anyway. As much as I sometimes liked Sneaky Todd. I think I preferred it when Bruno Langley was being Sneaky Todd. We did have Sneaky Todd as Gareth when he was trying to split up Paul and Billy, wasn't he? Do you remember? They went through all that thing again. So it's not like Gareth Pierce's Todd has only ever been a bit more goody two shoes Todd. I don't see it staying. I don't think so. I don't think that's a satisfying outcome of the domestic abuse storyline, is that it turns the victim into just a total tit. Yeah.
Do you think part of it's also him struggling with what's happened with Sarah and killing Theo?
Yeah, quite possibly.
Because he came back and visited her.
He does go and see her, as we'll find out later.
Oh, spoiler alert.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, he's got a lot going on in his life at the moment.
So,
Parkinson's deceased storyline. Another death storyline. Grim Reaper is eating well in Weatherfield at the moment.
Monday. Jodie comes in to number 4. Whenever I read these numbers, they mean nothing to me.
Sally's house.
And invites them to Roy's for lunch to try and clear the air with Lily and Lucy. And Lucy does not look very impressed and is just moping around. Then we see, Alia sees Jodie's got this wound where she was scratched by Lucy, and Jodie tells her about that. And then they take them out, and Lily gives Lucy this apology note and says, sorry about all that. I didn't mean to call you names. My mum's dead too. Do you want to be in the Weatherfield Dead Mother Society? And Jodie's like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
Let's all apologise.
Well, Jodie, as the adult, should be the one that's taking the lead, but she's a lot more pouty and immature than Lily was, wasn't she?
So Sally and Lucy end back up at their house, and Sally says, sorry, I told everyone that your mum's dead. I didn't mean to be insensitive. And Lucy says, oh, okay, don't worry about it. I want to be friends with Lily. And Sally goes to the shop, and Lucy opens Lily's letter, reads it, and then tears it into little pieces in a really angry way.
I can't work out, Lucy, about what her game is. You said that she's not too dissimilar from Jodie, in that she's a bit of a mysterious enigma at the moment. Like, what's your game at the moment?
What are you up to?
Obviously, the elephant in the room is the fact that quite a lot of fans now, a growing number of fans online I'm seeing, are very much in the camp of, well, clearly Lucy killed her mum, didn't she? And it's difficult to shake that. But
I don't think she did, because of what Richie said.
Oh, well, so we'll talk about that when we get there then. But yeah, sometimes I'm seeing Lucy as being, she is just a little girl at the end of the day, isn't she? And I'm thinking, she does just want to be nice. She wants to be friends with Lily. Oh, that's quite sweet. She wants to fit in. She wants to make a strawberry cake with everybody else. And then she'll just snap, and it's like, what's going on? So she starts reading the letter, doesn't she? And then for a second, I was like, are you tearing that up because Lily's actually written you a horrible note and nobody thought to check it before she put it in the envelope?
No.
Or are you just like, no, I don't want to be friends with Lily?
Is that what you think?
Well, I don't know. I thought it could have been either.
No, I think she just doesn't. She's just spiteful and she doesn't want to make friends with people.
Because she murdered her mum.
No, I mean, I'm watching this and the way they're treating her is so strange. Because they're acting like she just needs to settle in, and it's a question of, being resistant to change and not wanting to move house. Her dad murdered her mum, and everyone's kind of expecting her to get over it, and she's not crying or spending all of her time freaking out. Like, it's such a weird situation, because you wouldn't think that just happened to her, like, last week.
You're right. I mean, Sally and Tim are trying their best and they're doing a pretty good job, but they are kind of partly acting like, well,
get over it.
Yeah.
They're expecting her to, like,
put yourself together, Lucy.
Like, she'll have moments where she's okay, but this is crazy. This story is just so weird.
And the funeral's not happened yet either, and that's sure to throw things up in the air again. And
she keeps saying, "Oh, can I see my dad?" And they're like going, "No, no, no. I don't. I think this story is a mistake."
Another one.
This story's a mistake.
I'm not particularly minding.
It just doesn't. It's not how I've said this a few times. Not how humans act, is it?
It's
every so often someone will say something like, "Oh, this cake is to die for. Oh, sorry about that." Or, "Gosh, just like Mum used to make. Oh no, sorry, Lisa, I didn't mean." And that's the extent to which they acknowledge her incredible loss.
Might be a bit of a sensitive time at the moment. Yeah.
Like, it's not about saying slipping up and saying something like a throwaway word, like, "Oh, this is a killer salad." Like, that's just a slip of the tongue. Everything else is the problem.
Yeah. If you were Sally and Tim, would you arrange a meeting between Lucy and her dad? Because I do think it's coming across as a bit harsh that they're not.
Well, it's not.
She's literally living with people that she had no knowledge of
a
week and a half ago. She's totally cut off from everyone. I mean, I guess she's got her phone, hasn't she, that she's texting mates or what have you. But yeah, she's been thrown into this completely new situation. Yes. And they're saying, no, you can't visit the one and only person from your life that
you know.
Yeah. I mean, they're not inviting other friends round, are they?
No, none of her friends. And
it was her whole life, literally just her mum and her dad at this point.
Well, I want to point out something too that nobody's acknowledged, is that she's clearly an only child. And and now she's being forced to live in a house with two sisters and a brother.
Yeah, huge upheaval.
Massive.
Yeah,
but you people around you all the time in a situation where you kind of just want to be left alone, and it's not unhealthy to want to be left alone when you've had a bereavement. Not all the time, but leave her alone a little bit.
Yeah, I think another reason, if we're going down the rabbit hole of did she kill her mum, that she wants to speak to her dad is
to get the story straight.
Yeah, exactly. They probably didn't have much time. Tim interrupted them mid-murder almost. Yeah. And so as soon as Tim turned up, that was it. They've not been able to talk about it.
No.
So I think they have both been questioned by the police at this point. I think they must have. Yeah. Richie clearly has.
No, the police just stormed.
So there must have been a short moment of let's get our stories straight. But if you've known you've murdered your mum, and the only other person in the whole world who knows that, you probably would want to go and just have a quiet.
So we on for the plan. We're on for the plan.
Oh yeah. She doesn't know that Ross, who lives across the street, is possibly going to be there earwigging in.
No.
But it'd be interesting to see, like, if Sally and Tim agree to to let her go and see Richie, probably one of them will say, I'll sit down with you while you talk with your dad.
Yeah.
And she's like, no.
Maybe.
Just me and my dad on my own, please.
Maybe Lucy and Richie will have a little meeting in the prison, and Ross will overhear them talking about how Lucy's the one who killed her mum, and then Ross will immediately go and blackmail Sally and Tim and say, I'll tell everybody that she's a murderer.
Oh, that's totally in the ballpark of things that he would do. You're
that?
right. Well, I think that Lucy and Richie should have a secret coded phone call a la Kit and Sarah.
You know when you put jam... You know when I spilt jam on Mum?
Do you remember that, Dad?
And she slipped on it, and you said you would say it was you that did the jam. Are you still saying that it was you with the jam, or am I going to get in trouble for this jam?
Yeah, well, they are in a bit of a jam here, aren't they?
And Richie will be like, I don't know what you're talking about, love. You know your mum never liked jam. It was always marmalade in our house. Right, so, on Tuesday, Sally gets Tim to speak to Lucy. He's still moping. Because, you know, what a mopey bitch she is to not be happy and grateful for the bountiful life provided by the Metcalfs after her bereavement. She's fed up of being asked how she is. Yeah. So Lucy decides that she's going to smile a bit and say she likes risotto. But when she gets it, she doesn't want to eat it.
No.
That's really it.
Basically, that is it.
And you haven't really very well.
No, I haven't. Really my notes don't make sense.
Tim and Sally are like, gosh, maybe we're not equipped for the emotional labour that's required of this child who's just had an incredible traumatic experience, and we're also trying to mix her with these other children who have also had a terrible traumatic experience, and none of them know each other at all. Yeah,
I mean, the way that they're talking at the moment as well, they're under the impression that Lucy is only a temporary house guest, aren't they?
Yeah.
Because Brony and Shoni and Joni and whatever are off in Spain or wherever it is, and they're imminently due back. So
Sally's like, oh, she needs a lot of work and a lot of help. And Tim says, well, we need to be the ones. And Sally says, we might not be enough for her.
But some of the ways they were talking, it's almost as if they knew that she would be staying a little while longer.
Well, I'm also confusing things a little bit because I'm talking about what's happening currently, and at this point, she is being treated kind of as... Well, no, she's not, because she's not an only child, because Brody's there.
Mm.
So on Wednesday, Tim's been phoned by the social worker who's coming to take Lucy to her new foster parents. And Sally's like, good. And Tim says, well, we're the only family she's got. And then Brody says, well, look, why don't I move out to go and live with Kit, and Lucy can have my bedroom.
Sorted.
And so Tim and Sally tell Lucy that she can stay with them if she wants to. And she's like, oh, great, well... I'll think about it.
Yes.
So they speak to the social worker on Thursday, and she says, oh, okay, carry on then, that's fine.
Basically. That poor other foster family.
I know, they're like,
we've been waiting for a child for so long, and we've been told that we were going to have this.
That's not how you would act if you're waiting for a child.
Might be.
They've got like a bear that says Lucy on it, and now what, they're going to throw it in the bin.
Yeah.
So...
Stab it to death.
Tim is not happy.
Hit it around the head with a doorstop.
Smear jam on it. Tim is not in a good mood, though, because Richie wants to see him, and Tim is not keen about it, but he doesn't feel like he's got a choice. So he goes to visit him in the prison, and Richie says, I never meant to hurt Rachel, but she was really violent, and she would beat me up, and she'd shout at me, and we'd always have rows. But obviously my priority is Lucy, so I can get out of here. Can you tell the police what Rachel was like and back me up? Because I need to convince them that I acted in self-defence so I can, get out. And Tim's like, well, I didn't know her really, so I can't lie about it. And Richie says, oh, you have to. We're family. You've got to do the right thing for me and Lucy. You got to do it because you're family. And then Ross comes over and says, oh, is everything all right? And tells Richie he's keeping an eye on him.
I think I'm probably
really
Tim's doing the right thing to say no at this point, because it's all very well being able to answer one question and say, oh yeah, that Rachel, she was a bit of a cow, but it wouldn't stand up to prolonged questioning, like, how long have you known Richie and Rachel, sorry, can you give me any examples of whatever? And he wouldn't be able to make
This
it
is
up.
what I
He'd be
mean.
clearly lying.
It's really dumb. He can go to the police and say whatever he wants, but the police will say, you by your own admission, you'd only just met him the day before. How do you know any of this is true? This won't be compelling evidence. Tim shouldn't lose a wink of sleep over this, because he can go to the police and say, this is what he told me.
I think, yeah.
Ross is... This is exactly the same thing that's happening to Sarah with this Kacey saying, oh, get your copper boyfriend to help my kid out with his drug armed robbery. It's like, it's not possible.
Mm.
You can ask all you want, it's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
This is a fantastical dilemma that isn't rooted in reality at all. So it's not compelling to watch whatsoever, is it? Because you know it's not... Mm. You know what's going to happen, though. He's going to go, I won't do it. Then he'll lie, and then he'll get caught out and get in trouble.
I think that's very likely to happen. I think he probably is going to do it, yeah.
So
the thing is, if you've got... I don't know how this works, but if you've got Lucy saying to the police, yeah, I was there, she came at him, I always hear mum and dad arguing.
That should be enough.
It should be.
And does he not have any other friends or family, or does Lucy not have any friends that come over? Has he got any bruises?
Mm.
I just think if the whole thing hinges on Tim telling the police what Rachel was really like, I really don't believe that she was abusive, because...
Yeah, there should be enough other evidence, maybe. Although, obviously, a lot of abusers are very good at being able to hide it. Look at Theo.
They're good at hiding their tracks.
Yeah.
It's a difficult situation. If she didn't hit him in a way that showed bruises, but the fact that Lucy saw all this means she wasn't really hiding it. If it did happen.
Mm-mm. Yeah, she was doing it in front of the kid, you mean?
See, I'm concerned that this is a story that could be a very powerful story about men experiencing domestic abuse, but it's being tied up in a real implausible storyline that just leads you to pick holes in Richie's story, which is not what you want people to do with a victim of domestic violence. And
theorise what the twist could be.
Yeah, exactly. You don't really want that, but also this just comes off the back of what's happened with Theo and Todd. So I don't know.
Yeah,
and we also had the whole thing with Tyrone's abuse at the hands of Kirsty being brought back up to remind everybody that happened with him wearing purple and things, and the whole abuse episode with Lisa and Jess. So this just feels like a really badly... What's the word? It's got a weird vibe, hasn't it? This is a really weird vibe.
I'm not finding it.
Is this a murder mystery? Is this a twist? Is this a soapy... How can you justify having a soapy twist on something that, a few months ago you were po-faced telling everybody how great your job you were doing in representing domestic violence victims? What's going on? Is it like a fun soapy nonsense, or is it a serious issue? I don't know. I couldn't tell you the answer because I don't know what they're trying to go for here.
Yeah.
I don't want to be so nitpicky, but I feel
I'm
like
not bothered by
lots of people aren't, I'm sure.
I just wish that I hadn't seen people theorising that it was Lucy, because I don't think I'd have guessed myself that it was her. So Corrie needs to confirm one way or another. That's why I want to have Richie and Lucy have a scene together, so they either will or they won't say. We'll
know instantly, won't we?
Yeah.
By the way they look at each other.
Yeah.
Oh, I was going to say, I totally forgot to say this earlier. Glenda, Jodie Prenger was so good this week. Her performances were so good.
I was saying that a lot.
Yeah, I know, but I forgot to say it.
You forgot to
her acting, she's really, really good.
Yeah.
She was really great.
Yes.
And I also think that, I think that, I forgot her name again, Lucy, that all the performances are great. Everyone's selling it to me. I don't think there's somebody on the show that I don't think's doing a good job to convince. That's why I get annoyed with them, because I feel like they're real people. So Tim comes home and tells Sally what Richie's asked him and confirms he's not going to do it. But then Lucy comes down and finds out that Tim's seen her dad, and without telling her, and starts to say again that it was self-defence.
Well, she's like, it wasn't my dad's fault, and which, as somebody who's on Lucy Killed Rachel, wagon is like, yeah, it's because you're saying it's your fault, isn't it? She doesn't want to see her dad go down with this, and she's just desperate because she's probably feeling mega guilty about it.
Well, this is why it would make sense if Ross was desperately asking Tim to back him up. If it really didn't ever happen, and he needs somebody to say it did, because there's no evidence or proof.
No, that's true.
I don't know.
Anyway,
Ross joins Tim and Sally in the pub and says, sorry about earlier on when I stepped into... I can't remember who even read this out, but when Tim is asking...
Yeah, you did say that. Ross
like, I'm keeping an eye on you, Richie. And he goes over to Tim and Sally and says, sorry I interrupted your conversation about doing illegal things, but Richie's always kicking off all the time.
Which is interesting. To him, he's said that Richie has got a bit of a temper, and he's only been banged up for a week, yet he already has a reputation with a prison guard of being...
an instigator.
Yeah. Which
isn't
looking good for him.
So, but we keep coming back to, if it really was that Richie killed Rachel because he's the abusive one, why is Lucy so fixed on saying it was the other way around? Why would you cover for your dad abusing your mum? Why do they hate this character that's dead so much, the pair of them?
Well, could there have been a situation where Richie has been the horrible one all along, and then Lucy comes home from school or whatever and finds them in the middle of an argument? Rachel snapped after all this time of being goaded and belittled and what have you by Richie. She goes for Richie, and then Lucy is like, Mum, no, not Dad. Yeah. Even though Lucy might or might not know that Dad is an arse. She might have, she might have accidentally, done it to...
No, because we've had Lucy say that Rachel abused Richie all the time.
But that all could be part of the plan that they agreed.
I know it. That's what I'm saying.
I don't know.
I just find it weird.
Right.
On Friday, Joni and Shoni come back, and they're not happy about the fact that Lucy's moving in and Brody's moving out.
Brody calls them Joan and Shone or Jan and Shan or something. So he's like, I don't know.
That's not going to catch on. It's Grony and Shoni. So it's very chaotic because they're all decorating a cake as like a fun family activity.
Joni's like, I'm going to have a strawberry, and Sally's mind is blown by the fact that a child wants to pinch a strawberry. She's like, you never choose fruit voluntarily. Like, all kids like strawberries, surely. No. Any child would pinch a strawberry.
No. Not a child that was raised in a house where you don't eat fruit.
Maybe.
That's the insinuation.
Yeah.
So she's whittering on about Sophie, the bowl gets dropped on the floor, and Lucy's just like, oh God, I'm going.
Yeah,
she gets
Tim,
overwhelmed.
and this is when Tim says, oh, I'll be mother, isn't it? When he says, can I slice the cake? And I think that's possibly what sets Lucy on edge as well.
So he finds Lucy in the garden, and he tells her all the stuff that he likes, and it's not interesting at all. And she tells him she likes to make jewellery,
bracelets,
and she can play the piano. And he says, we're all in it together.
Nice.
He doesn't ask her any follow-up questions about the jewellery. You notice that?
No, didn't notice.
It just goes, I don't know what that is. It's boring.
I think.
Ask me some questions about Worthy County.
What did you think of Joni and Shanice's reaction to Lucy? Because they were also being pretty horribly standoffish. I would have thought that, I don't know, would they think it's quite exciting to come home and there's a new child living in their house?
No.
I don't know what the normal behaviour would be to that. I know everyone would react differently, but they were being particularly horrible, weren't they?
This is their home now.
Do they think that...
And then another child comes along. It must be very, very difficult. Especially if she's standing there like it's a spooky ghost.
Yeah. Okay, right. Let's round things off. Is this the last storyline? Pretty much, with the Sarah Louise and Kit story, which I was kind of glad eased off by the end of the week, to be honest. But we got some more great performances by was it Joshua Levy who plays Harry? I think he's been fab this week. And on Monday's episode, it starts off with him being in a strop because he doesn't want to go to little big shots with everybody else. He's like, it's for little kids. I'm not a kid. It's like, literally, what is he, going into year 6 at the moment? He's definitely a little kid, but he's like, no, it's only for babies. And then we get to see Michael taking a very overexcited Glory through the door, and that was possibly the first time that we've seen Glory all year.
Yeah, I know.
And
I
it
was
was
like,
just
she
her
been
being
recast? No.
Yeah, you did. You said, is that a new Glory? I was like, no, that's the same one. Just because I remember doing the artwork for it when we did the Bailey review the other month. But anyway, he didn't like the idea of this, and he gets him. But Adam comes along and reminds him how great a Tin Man he was a few months ago, and clearly he's got actor's blood pulsing through his veins. And he's like, and you don't want Jake taking the best part in Bugsy Malone now, do you? Bugsy Malone.
Not doing Bugsy Malone again, are we?
Yeah, the classic Coronation Street go-to child's musical. And he's like, oh, I suppose not. And then he goes in. Meanwhile, you got Todd visiting Sarah. Now, he's done a classic Corrie. I know I said I didn't want to be your mate anymore, but now I'm back on screen after a little bit of time off. I've changed my mind. And it was just a cliffhanger with her by saying, yeah, let's be friends again.
I still love you.
Whenever anybody on this programme is like, I'm never going to talk to you again, and then we don't see them for 3 months, literally the first scene they have to have together is establishing, I've cooled down now, let's be friends again.
No one can do it like Bet and Rita.
No. Sarah bemoans how badly she's handled the whole murdering Theo situation, and he says, it's
awkward.
You did mess up, Sarah Louise, but I still love you anyway. And she holds his hands and says she loves him too, and it's all very lovely and sweet. And then she says about this guy Kacey, doesn't she? And Todd says, you don't belong here, and Sarah says, but I do. Because she's a murderer, isn't she?
She did it. She's
Wants self-defence. She did. She's admitting it. So Casey's naffed off later because she didn't get a visit from family members. And she also reveals that her son's been arrested for armed robbery. What a wrong-un family they are. Maybe your copper boyfriend can help my Brandon. And as suspected, Kacey all cozying up and getting nicey-nicey with Sarah over the past week or so was really just an attempt to...
groom her to an alliance.
I'm not completely sure what she thinks is going to happen, but maybe it's not completely out of the ordinary for a character to hope that somebody who's going out with a police officer might be able to turn a few screws or whatever. I get it, yeah. So anyway, back at Little Big Shots, Harry and Jake are having an argument about Sarah, and they end up having a tussle over these headphones of Jake's, which break, so Glenda tries ringing Kit. Now, he's been acting very suspiciously recently with his phone calls, hasn't he? He's been making these hidden phone calls, leaving answer phone messages is mostly what we've seen.
People contacting him, calling him Christopher Green.
Yeah. And it's been, and this isn't the first time that Corrie has been to this well, have they? Of let's just have characters having phone calls for weeks and weeks on end until we finally reveal that they've got a spending addiction. Maybe this is what Kit's done, and it's like, the credit card company saying
buying leather drinking accessories and flick blades with his initials carved on them and whiskey glasses with it.
It's just.
That's what men.
He's just getting custom tailored clothes to fit his abnormally large height, Gemma. That's all it is.
He's getting a report about what Weatherfield County were doing on the day he was born as a newspaper clipping that he's going to frame in a gold frame above the fireplace. I don't think we're any further than we were last week about wondering what on earth this could be, but I'm leaning towards it being something medical. I don't know. But he's kind of parked off somewhere, isn't he? And he's definitely looking like he's just received some kind of bad news, or he's waiting for bad news, or he's trying to take time to process something, because when Glenda phones him, he chucks the phone into the back, doesn't he? Now, he's been fairly good with Harry recently. He's been trying, hasn't he? Been trying to be a dad. So the fact that the person who is currently looking after Harry is trying to ring him, he must know that something bad's going on here. So whatever he's going through must be that much even worse.
That much worse.
I remember I was saying that I think Kit's really good and how good he is with Harry, and it's nice to see a man on Coronation Street taking, a parental role. And then I'm like, oh yeah, also Brody. He's not very good with Brody, is he?
No, not really. But no. Brody's not cute like Harry, so...
But he's got such a winning smile.
He can look after himself.
And the cheeky glint in his eye.
Back at the prison, Kacey's still trying to beg Sarah to get Kit involved and hopefully get her son off of this armed robbery charge. And Sarah's like, well, I can't really. He's not even my boyfriend anymore. And Casey's like, oh, you were just pretending to be my mate. I looked out for you, etc., etc. Why should I bother if you won't do out for me? So we've seen the bad side of Kacey now. What a surprise that that's come along. Meanwhile, you got Bethany and Adam giving Harry a bit of a talking to, but he's not having any of it. And, he strops off. What do you know?
Take a shot.
Another stropper offer. Yeah, take a shot every time somebody strops off this week. And Adam tells Bethany, look, Kit's clearly not coping looking after Harry by himself here. Maybe we should step up and play a part in it as well. And I think Todd at one point during the week says maybe I could look after Harry as well.
I like this. This
doesn't.
was actually an interesting and well thought out dynamic of people that, Bethany's going, well, he said he would do it, so he's got to do it. You either do it or you don't do it, but you don't say you do it and then not do it. And then Bethany, they're all trying to scrape together some kind of care for this kid.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why don't Sally and Tim adopt him?
Yeah, they couldn't they? Stick him in there, just empty out the hot tub.
Yeah.
Stick him in there.
Stick a lid on it.
Job's a good one. Yeah, but Kit comes home later and finds out about the Little Big Shots thing and then feels a bit guilty about it. And then Sarah phones up Todd at the end of the episode who says, look, he says, you need to report Kacey. For what she's doing for you. And she says, I can't. And he says, well, I'm going to talk to Kit then. And I think that comes Tuesday, possibly. So Tuesday, you got Kit and Brode in the cafe. Brode saying, I'm not going to fall in love or get married. It's not worth the carnage. Idris comes along and niggles Kit for a bit. And this is kind of then partly leads into the poker story, doesn't it? Kit is not in a good place at the moment. I enjoyed him telling that he referred to him as Mr. Goldie Looking Chain. So that's my new name for Idris now. I'm going to instantly forget it.
I don't know how many people get that.
Doesn't matter. Sarah speaks to Adam later. He's still trying to convince her that Harry would be better off without flaky Kit. Harry needs consistency, he says. And then Kacey comes over and nags her for more help. It felt like we were just kind of revisiting and going back and forth with this a little bit more than I felt we needed to this week.
Yeah, I mean, at some point, Sarah says to her, you don't need a policeman, you need a solicitor, and then never follows it up with Adam.
I wouldn't want to tell her
Literally,
that I know a solicitor, that my ex-husband's a solicitor, because I'd give her something else to...
No, this is literally the way out for her. She says, look, here's my friend Adam, he's a solicitor, he can help you. And then you say to him, this is what's going on.
Do you reckon that's where they're
Would it not be easier? Because it's literally Adam's job to help people that are in the situation that this Brandon's in. It is not Kit's job to help people get away with armed robbery, even though he uses it as an enthusiastic side hobby.
You're very true, you're very right. And Adam, like he said, because he had that chat with Ben, was it yesterday when he was like, actually, I'm glad that Megan got sent down. But sometimes you've got to defend evil people.
He's like, I'm in an existential crisis, Ben. I keep having to defend people that have moved their fence 3 metres to the right when it should have been 3 metres to the left. I hate myself. I can't sleep at night, but it's my job. What should I do? And Ollie's there going, yes, I told you. You should only defend people that haven't done
it. Anyway, what goes on? Kit goes and visits her. It's all fairly dull. It's more... Kit just spends a lot of Tuesday in a mope about whatever it is that he is going through, and they don't want to tell us what it is yet.
Well, Kit goes to see Sarah on the understanding that she wants to get back with him, and when he realises she doesn't want to...
Oh, yeah, that's it.
He goes, why don't you bloody ask Gary then?
Yeah, exactly. And then he goes off and spends a lot of money on his poker night, doesn't he?
What Sarah should do is go, look, okay, I can't get Kit to help you. You could get Adam to help you because he's a solicitor, but really what I think I'm going to do is give you Gary's number, and the next time Brandon wants to do an armed robbery, get Gary to help you because he's really good at crimes.
Brilliant. Yeah.
You don't need to stop doing crimes, you just need to not get caught.
He does at least agree by the end of the episode that maybe he will let Adam take some of the slack and have Harry for a little bit as well. And we had that scene where they were sitting in the snug and Gemma's there sticking her neb in, isn't she? It was just kind of funny. There's another Kacey scene at the other end of the episode where Sarah says Kit said no. Kacey says that's not good enough. Slams her against the wall, Idris style, and says, you need to get this sorted. And Sarah's left feeling quite a flutter.
So did Sarah didn't actually even ask Kit though, did she, or did she?
I don't know whether she did. I don't think she did.
No.
There's no point. As
because,
I say,
well, no, if Kit found out, he would get Kacey moved to a different prison, probably.
Maybe.
That would be such an easy way of sorting this. This is probably the solution.
Yeah. There's a few solutions here that Sarah's just not quite put two and two together. She needs you as a cellmate.
Well,
so
no.
This is what you need to do here, Sarah Louise.
She does the right thing on Wednesday.
Kit's phone's ringing on Wednesday, but he tells Bethany, don't know the number. He's lying again, of course. And then Brody comes in and says, can I stay with you? Kit says, sod off. No, I'm not in the right headspace for it at the moment. Kit comes... Wednesday was this poker night, wasn't it? That's it. Was it? I don't know.
I think it's Thursday.
No, Thursday wasn't the poker night. I think it was Wednesday was the poker night. It doesn't matter. Basically, the highlight of this episode for me was Sarah getting a bit of fire in her belly, doesn't she? Because Casey's nagging her again and says, oh, look, there's a photo of all your children. Most of them, at least. Anyway, Harry will do. You better watch. She makes these vague threats that if you don't help me, shame if something happened to him. And Sarah just kind of launches herself at him and says, "You may have forgotten that I'm in here for murder. So if you threaten to my son again, I swear to God, I'll batter you." And Kacey does actually get a little bit shaken by this, doesn't she?
I don't think this is going to be this. She's going to get beaten up by a load of them at some point because
Sarah,
of this.
she's already been beaten up at one point.
I know,
she?
but this isn't going to be the final word, is it?
No.
But I
It was enough
really
to put
loved
the story on ice for a while.
I really loved her doing that.
I thought that
was
was
go
great
on,
when she
tell her
did
to
that.
bugger off.
Definitely cheering her on with that. And that was pretty much it for the story, apart from this mysterious scene on Thursday when a very, very Welsh lady comes over to Adam in the precinct and says, "Is this the way to the summer club?" And he says, "Yes, it's over here," which was not picked up again or followed up at all throughout the rest of the episode or Friday. So this mysterious lady from the valleys, I guess we'll find out about more next week, because I don't think that there was any point in that, and they certainly didn't need to give her a speaking part unless she's going to turn out to be somebody important.
Why would you hire someone with a beautiful Welsh accent and not give them a speaking part? In fact, as far as we know, all of the extras are Welsh.
Could be, just put on a very good accent.
No, they don't. Non-speaking.
Oh, the non-speaking extras. Yeah, she
could just
couldn't keep a zip on it anymore. I saw somebody online thinking that maybe mysterious Welsh mum is actually someone related to Kacey, and she's going to get this kid to try and mate up with Harry or get information off of Harry or something. But she seems so nice, didn't she?
Welsh people,
nice Welsh lady,
are always nice, and they never do anything horrible.
Exactly.
Because they've got lovely voices.
Yes, they're too busy just having a lovely
singing.
That's all they do.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was that. Nothing to say there. I'm getting so tired of this story at this point.
Which one?
Just the Sarah prison story. I don't need it. Anyway, that was it. There was also a little bit of Nina this week, wasn't there? She comes back from her job interview at the Special Arts Gallery in Whitby to think that she's flunked it.
The Jack Skellington poster shop.
Yes, but then it turns out, oh no, she did excellently. So she's getting a job in Whitby, and I guess we'll talk more about that. The
commute is a bit far.
About that next week. But made a bit of a change to the classic Corrie fake out of, oh, it went really badly. Not really, I got the job. You thought that Will was going to do a GCSE fake out this week, didn't you?
Yeah, when he came in, he went, I failed with most of them and got really crap scores in the rest. I was like...
Everyone was going, yes.
But what did you really get? I was
really
sitting there going, come on, you must have got some good... No, apparently not. You also told me that I need to tell everybody about Whitby because you think it's not common knowledge.
I don't know where Whitby is.
No, that it's a goth haven.
Oh. Yeah, I definitely didn't know that.
It's nearly 3 hours away from Manchester, and it's
closer than here.
The east coast of the country, and it's a very well known
not by me
goth haunt.
Right.
Because of Dracula.
So it's perfect for her, because that's where Dracula lived. Not Transylvania. No,
Whitby. It was where he landed in his boat.
Right. And there's loads of goths there, apparently. So
yeah, and they have like a goth weekend every year. at the end of October, and it's like a music festival and stuff. And
How do you know all this?
Because I love. I'm not a goth, but I love it. I love all that stuff. I don't like the aesthetic. It would not suit me. I don't think I am into wearing that goth stuff. Although
you do wear black pretty much every day.
That's because I don't realise that it makes me look like a big fly.
Oh, what?
I always think it makes me look like a big fat fly. But I'm trying to... If I could wear an invisibility cloak, I would wear that instead. And black is the closest thing I can get to. But there is a really nice clothing company that I would love to wear stuff from, which is called Disturbia. And they do have some kind of like goth adjacent things that are quite nice.
Okay.
That I'm showing Michael.
Right, very nice. Who's your character of the week this week, Gemma? Is it Random Welsh Mum?
It is Anonymous Poker Player 4.
Yeah, a couple of those poker players, they were keeping it zipped, weren't they?
I can't believe no one's saying anything about the fact it was my 20 grand that got... I'm going to give it to Glenda.
It seems hard to not give it to Glenda. I mean, Nick was also excellent for the few scenes that he was in, but just because we also don't like Idris. But yeah, I think out of the stories that are on this week...
squinting Nick Tilsley.
Yeah, I think that Glenda is a fairly easy pick because she was fabulous,
looks so gorgeous.
And hopefully it'll cheer her up knowing that she was character of the week because she ended up the week not in a good place.
Jodie Prenger gave such a fantastic performance. I think sometimes some people's performances are quite invisible, I think, especially people that play characters, like Glenda, who it feels like she is just a show busy kind of like... She's always putting on a performance as a character, isn't she?
Yeah.
And because she doesn't get a big range of things normally to do, she's always just like, oh, fabulous, oh, would you like a pint? Like, there's not really a lot of stuff to do with that. But she is fantastic as an actress. And that scene when she is devastated by what Todd's done to her, and even the bit where he comes in and he says, oh, you're sticking your makeup on with a trowel, her face falls in a really kind of natural, subtle way. I think she's fine.
I just loved how she was walking on air when she thought that she'd got herself a man, and she was just like hovering almost around the back of the rovers, just going, oh, this is amazing. Yeah, I love Glenda this week. Easy pick of the week for me. And as for a score...
Difficult.
Yeah, I mean, it was another Idris, Kit, Ollie, heavy week.
I gave it a banging when they had the
poker night. Because
it makes me laugh how ludicrous it is.
So it wasn't really a great episode.
No, well, I enjoyed it because it was like, I felt like a dog watching a fireworks display. Like, I don't know what's going on.
There was an element of tension there.
I don't know why everything's exciting suddenly, but it is.
It wasn't guaranteed that Ollie was going to win that,
well,
I suppose. It was. Well, apart from the whole marked cards thing, which I didn't notice at the time, obviously. But yeah, I didn't go much on the Sarah storyline. I'm a bit tired of that. And even the Sally and Tim story, no, it didn't feel like there was a huge amount of movement there this week, although I enjoyed the characters involved. I'm
going to give this week 3 mothballs in Glenda's lucky knickers out of 5.
I was just about to say 3 as well, actually, and that was something that I've been thinking of. I'm going to give it 3 babies and stupid Jake Windass at Little Big Shots out of 5.
Yeah, who wants to hang around with them?
Yeah. But there we go. There was this week's Coronation Street. That is it.